Good noon to everyone. I am Dr. Manas Naik, lecturer in English, Pattamundai College, Pattamundai. I am the host of this national webinar. Very soon, within 5 minutes, we'll be starting a meeting as there is a technical problem. So I am trying to sort out it. So within 2 to 3 minutes, we'll be starting this meeting. So just wait. It is simple. It is a request to all the participants. Kindly be patient, and we'll be starting this program within 3 minutes.
Please unmute.
Good noon to everyone. I, Dr. Manas Naik, lecturer in English, Pattamundai College, Pattamundai. On behalf of Department of Philosophy, Pattamundai College, I welcome all of you to this national webinar. So now we are going to start our webinar. Before starting our webinar, I would like to request Ms. R.N. Madhusmita Parida, lecturer in philosophy, convener of this national webinar, to introduce our resource persons to this webinar. Please, ma'am.
Thank you, Dr. Manas. Very good afternoon to all of you. Esteemed chairperson of this national webinar, Mr. Adhikari Lakshminarayan Das sir, eminent resource person and participant, I would like to introduce our resource person to this meeting. Dr. Ramachandra Maji, former professor, Department of Philosophy, Ravenshaw University, Cuttack, Odisha. He had his PhD from University of Rochester, USA. He was visiting professor at Utkala University, Bhubaneswar. He had Odisha State Scholarship in the year 1975 to 1977, National Scholarship in 1979 to 1981, Overseas Travel Grant from ICPR, New Delhi for PhD research in 1989, and University of Rochester Fellowship in 1989 to 1994. He had designed Innovation Center of Ravenshaw University under IIT Bhubaneswar from MHRD India 2014 to 2017 of worth 37.5 lakh. He had edited and authored 3 books for teachers, scholars, and students. He published 10 research papers in referred journals. He is the editor of Ravenshaw Journal of Philosophy, a UGC care-listed journal. Apart from this, he had published many research papers in various reputed journals and supervised 4 PhD scholars. He was the president of Ispat College Teacher Association from 1994 to 1996. He was the joint secretary All Odisha Philosophy Association from 2002 to 2006. He was the president Gandhi Mahavidyalaya Teachers Association from 2006 to 2007. He was the president Ravenshaw University Teachers Association from 2016 to 2017. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation, for giving your valuable time to us. I would like to introduce our next resource person, Dr. Rajkishore Nath, currently working as Associate Professor in Philosophy, School of Humanities and Social Science, IIT Bombay, Mumbai. He had his PhD from Central University of Hyderabad. He had received Young Philosopher Award 2012 instituted by Indian Council of Philosophical Research, Ministry of HRD, Government of India, New Delhi. He received Best PhD distinction by Dean, School of Humanities, University of Hyderabad in the year of 2006. He is the life member of Journal of Indian Council of Philosophical Research. He has supervised two PhD scholars. He associate editor, Journal of AI and Society Springer, October 2020 to till date. He had done a project, Computationalism, a study in philosophy, funding agency, IRCC, IIT Bombay, 2007 to 2010. He had published a number of research papers in many reputed international journals. Thank you, sir, for accepting our invitation, giving your valuable time to us. I would like to introduce our next research person, Dr. Saroj Kankara. He is currently working as an assistant professor in philosophy at School of Buddhist Studies, Philosophy and Comparative Religion, Nalanda University, Bihar. He worked in various major capacities in different institutions. He has been program officer in Indian Council of Philosophical Research, ICPR, 2011 to 2018. And before that, had worked as teaching faculty in MS University of Baroda for a short period. He was a research associate in Githam University from 2010 to 2011. And for a long time, he had been involved in research and teaching at Center of Advanced Studies in Philosophy at Utkal University from 2007 to 2010. He had his PhD and PDF from Central University of Hyderabad. He had published a number of research papers and edited books in many reputed international journals and in publishing house. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Mrs. Aranyam Parida, for the brief introduction of our esteemed resource persons. Now, I'd like to invite the chairperson of this webinar, Professor Adhikari Lakshminarayan Das, principal of this college, to welcome our resource persons. Sir, please, sir.
So namaste to all the resource persons of today's webinar. My warm and heartiest regards to all of them. I welcome all the resource persons to this webinar on behalf of the Pattamundai College, Department of Philosophy. It is really a proud moment for us that we have three eminent scholars, academicians, and researchers who are joined with us in today's seminar. The participants are really lucky that they got such type of resource persons today who will not only highlighted the classical Indian philosophy, but will deliver their presentation in the need and requirement of our participants. Sir, I am really happy that you have accepted our invitation and joined with us in the right time. Many participants are here with us from different colleges of our district. Different research scholars of our state are also present in this webinar. It is really proud for us that today is the 47th webinar of this session. We have already completed 46th webinar till now due to the blessings of Corona. Otherwise, you will not be able to get Dr. Rajkishore Nath and Saroj Kant Kaur, who are residing out of the state, and it is not possible to bring them to our institution. It is very difficult. That's for us. But this corona gave a blessing to us that we could able to get these 3 resource persons for this webinar. And I request all the participants joined with us, please keep mute all your audio till the completion of your webinar. If you have any interaction, when you are allowed to ask questions, you will unmute your audio. At the time of interaction, you can raise your hands or you can ask the questions directly to our resource persons. They will interact with you. And I request all the resource persons, it will be better if we will deliver their presentation in both Odia and English. It will be better for our students. They can understand easily, because some typical philosophical words are there which is not easily understood. So once again, my heartiest and deepest warm regards to all those resource persons who are joined with us today. I wish all the success of this webinar. Again, my sincere thanks to them because they have accepted us and they have joined in time, and they will now very much looking that they are very energetic and active to participate in this seminar for the need of our participants. Thank you so much, sir, that you have joined with us. Lastly, I welcome all those participants who are joined with us in today's webinar, and my sincere thanks to all of them. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for welcoming our resource persons. Sir, you are the reason for which we have organized so much webinars in our college, including external and national webinars. Thank you for your inspiration and encouragement and help, for which the college has organized numerous webinars for our students, not only for our students, the students around around all over India. Thank you, sir. Now, I would like to request our resource person, Dr. Daskishwar Nath, sir, for his presentation. Sir, please, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Manas Kumar Naik. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Okay. Respected Principal, Mr. Adhikari Lakshmi Narayan Das, and my regards to Mrs. Madhusmita Parida and Dr. Manas Kumar Naik, Dr. Saroj Kant Kaur, and Professor Majhi. It is a great privilege for us to present a paper at Pattamundai College, because of the fact that I am belongs to nearby Pattamundai. I am from Rajkanika and my village is from Ayatan. And although I did my education from Christ College, then moved to Hyderabad. And I am very much homesick because of the away from the village as well as the city, and for a long time. It's not a short time. Okay, there is different facts, and I would like to present a PPT for you. Let me share. Where to share this, because I am the very new. I don't use Zoom. I use Microsoft Teams and Webex. Yeah, sharing or just yeah. Yeah, can you see me my PPT? You are not audible.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We
Yeah.
can see you, sir. We can see
Okay.
your PPT, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh, just a minute. Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Uh, I would like to talk on does human culture
Sir, the
dominates
noise.
on
Yes, sir.
nature uh, a ecosophical foundation for the study of environment. Uh, Environmental issue is one of the most important issue in the present time. Without environment, it's very difficult to exist in this world. But we do not give much priority to environment. It is because of the fact that our culture, human cultures, has been dominating on nature. But the primary culture of the human being is to be rational. But the rationality is completely missing in the environmental issues, even if missing in our actions. Uh, uh, yeah, sorry. Uh, uh, this is an ecosophy, you see, is a philosophical approach to others, including animal, plants, as well as humans, etc., emphasizing the significance you see, of individual actions and beliefs concerning the environment. You see. And this can be called as a eco philosophy. And the ecosophy is mainly concerned with the individual's ecological behavior. To have ecological behavior, and we should develop a ecological self. Ecological self is necessary. We should use ecological self. Then we can develop the ecological behavior. And the ecological self will bring harmony with nature, where humans and the whole ecosystems will flourish. You see, many times there are many kinds of ecological issues, even if within our district also, like Vitharikanika, even if landslidings and many other part of the world also. You see, and this is a kind of a global issue. This is not a kind of a local issues, and those local and global issues plays a vital role for the human existence. And the ecological self is a necessary character of each individual because of our Logi culture, we kill nature, which is logi culture. And human cultures are based on beliefs and practices. And these beliefs and practices are mostly anthropocentric perspectives, means it is a human centric, human made. Many customs, practices, for example, domestic violence against women, domestic violence against, even if in the case of animals, and any other kinds of violence. You see, it's all everything is made by the humans, and we call it is a culture. Killing animals in the name of religious activities is a kind of culture. Teaching animal in the name of entertainment, you see. Therefore, these kind of practices are very much anthropocentric because we consider human being as the best sentient being in this world. But the best sentient actions is not coming from the humans because humans kill its nature. The anthropocentric approach to ethics advocates centered and a kind of ideology which asserts humans like humans' behavior, beliefs, culture, rituals, customs, dominance over other species. Now, some of the questions are humans the only things in the world that are valuable in themselves? Because we talk only humans, because everything else nowadays we are saving tiger, it is because of the humans. Saving crocodile is for the humans. Saving tortoise for humans, and whatever we are doing also protecting nature for the humans. Therefore, it is a kind of human centric. You see, and is everything else only valuable because it is valuable to humans? Why should humans be placed inside the circle and other beings the outside? Because human is a speciesism. This kind of speciesism you will find. What would we call it if we placed people or other race inside the circle just because of their race? Because even if the humans, there is also difference between black, white, regional differences also. You are not from Maharashtra, you are not from Odisha, or you are not a Kalinga, which like that, this kind of differences. There is some kind of, even if this, among the humans, this kind of differences are there. Is it any difference if we place only the things which outside the circle because of their species? Is there a relevant difference between humans and non-humans that make the formers intrinsically valuable and the latter not? You see, there you must have studied, those who have studied intrinsic value, value in itself. You see, humans are value in itself. It is because of that, and the others are instrumentals because we have to use them as a means. We are using as a kind of bullock or a kind of a bull as our means for the cultivations. You see, but we are not worried about the bullock. Actually, you see, when the bullock is very old, we sold to somebody else, and he will sell the flesh in the market. You see, at the end, you see, bullock has no family actually. This, you see, has no family, nothing else, and he does everything else for the farmers. At the end, the farmer sells actually, and we have been selling now from bones to skins to everything else because we need all this. For leather jacket we need a leather belt, and we need many the leather even bow. We need very much like elephant teeth bottoms also for our shirts and t-shirts and many other things. Therefore these kind of things I am talking it in the ordinary language because you can able to understand these kind of issues are there, you see. The main focus is that in this paper, the anthropocentric ethical approach treats human as unique as the superior. Here, nature is not a part of human beings. Instead, nature can be viewed in economic terms. Many times we see nature as economic terms. We see it is a mining, or it is a tree is a good sofa for my house, or good cot for my place. You see, or I can sell it in the market of resource for the human existence. That is to say that it constructs nature as others. They are not part of us actually. But if you see Indian traditions, especially Advaita Vedanta, so we are a cosmic consciousness. We are related to each other actually. You see, there is a relative sense of consciousness is there, but we are related to animals, with our fellow beings, with plants, because with air, earth, water, air, ether, other things we cannot exist. But we have created nature as others. The others is one of the most important philosophical theses in the continental philosophy and other philosophy. Okay. The above exposition showed that nature's value is derived from the human judgment. Therefore, everything else is derived from the human judgments, the human's definitions. The way I am defining, the same way I am explaining about the nature. You see, the way I am doing the activities and the same way I have been approaching. You see, same way I have been eating also nature because of our customs and our value, and everything else is from the human judgments. The way we are dress, codes, and everything. All the beneath there are some kind of rules and regulations are existing for women, but those are not for men also, and which are from the derived from the human judgments. We see which are for you is something, for your sisters is something. Therefore, this kind of human judgments we should go from the beyond from the human judgment. That approach would be there at the end. That is to say that nature has the value, but the value is not increasing, and it's therefore it's kind of instrumental values. The philosophical foundation to anthropocentric claims that humans and human culture intrinsically valuable, and others, things and beings, ecosystems, including animals, are extrinsically valuable because of their value to humans. Uh, Now, I would like to argue that human culture should protect nature, should not dominate on nature, because our culture is like that. We have been, even if culturally, you see, we have been polluting water, polluting air in the name of Diwali, in the name of the other festival is coming, our what is called ଆମେ ଡଙ୍ଗା ଭସାନ୍ତି ନା ଏ ଯୋଉ କାର୍ତ୍ତିକ ମାସରେ ଆମେ ଏଠି ବି ଡଙ୍ଗା ଭସାଉ ବମ୍ବେରେ ବି କଦଳୀ ପାଟ ଆମେ ସବୁ ପଲ୍ୟୁଟ କରୁ ମହାନଦୀ କି ଅନ୍ୟାନ୍ୟ ଗାଁ ଗଣ୍ଡାରେ ପୋଖରୀ ଗଡ଼ିଆ ମୁଁ ଯେତେବେଳେ ଡିସେମ୍ବର ମାସ ଯାଏ ଦେଖି ସବୁ ବହୁତ ପଚିକି ସବୁ ସରିଥାଏ ସବୁ ସେସବୁ ଜାଗା ସବୁ ସେଇଭଳି ଆମ culture means it is a religious culture where the religious culture is dominating on the nature, and we have been creating some kind of contradictions. You see, the culture kills nature is not a culture. The culture which kills nature is not a culture. The culture kills nature. Human behavior is not, therefore it cannot called as a rational. You see, because rationality is not reflected in beliefs, human actions. You see, the way I've been believing, practicing, like animal sacrifice, and we have been doing in this kind of things. This rationality is not there. Although Aristotle has defined long back that human beings are rational animals, but the rationality has not been reflected in our actions till now, because we have been deriving, although we are rational being, but the rationality is not dominating on the culture, because we say the culture is primary than any other things. And keeping these ideas in mind, in this paper, would like to defend deep ecology, ecofeminism from the non-anthropocentric perspective. Uh, and moral dilemmas are dilemmas because they urge you to make choice between competing rights, rather a right and wrong, that what make it a choice to talk actually. Many times there are moral dilemmas actually are there. Even if you may be working as a judge in the future, very difficult if your kith and kin somebody has committed some kind of crime, how to take the decisions, objective decisions, because we are always subjective. Our own will, that plays very vital role. You see. And humans slowly depleting all of our natural resources, the other generation needs for the futures. Our world was created for us to live and thrive, but we are slowly killing it, because you see how the pollution is happening many other part of the world, especially in Delhi, cities like Bombay, you see, and because of that we are killing ourselves. COVID-19 is a kind of that kind of things also, you see. Therefore, sustainability for the environment is crucial, so we do not disturb the world created that created by God also. Many times we believe we are religious being, and the religion plays very vital role, you see. Therefore, if we believe that a God created, we should respect the God. Sustainability doesn't mean that it is a economical terms or it is a technological terms. It is a philosophical terms. Therefore, sustainability from philosophical perspective is necessary. Many times sustainability, if you see, it's always economical. Environmental sustainability also plays very vital role to have a good life. But anthropocentrism always talk about value that is contained and derived from the human judgments, and the anthropocentric value that is human centered, which because it is human centered, because of the human beings have the inherent rights, other beings do not have rights actually. Nowadays we are talking about forest right, this right, that right, again we are talking about human right also. There is also among the humans there is a distinction that yeah, I am black, you are white also. This kind of distinctions are there. Even if I would like to give you some of the example, during marriage proposal, we Indians are black, still we make the differences also. Even if we Indians are black, if you use fair and lovely cream, you will be whitener. You see, this kind of things, unequal things actually. Our constitution says that we are not different from any kind of other things, but still we are making the differences because we are also part of the nature. We are not part of that. And this thesis also you will find in the case of Kantianism. Human beings have inherent worth. You see, because they are rationals, according to Immanuel Kant. And here the Kant thesis is completely anthropocentric. You see, other animals, plants do not have inherent worth since they are not rational also. Therefore, other animals and other things are not rational. Therefore, you see, in that sense, Immanuel Kant is making some kind of distinction. You must have read Kant book and critique of pure religion, critique of practical religions, and all those books, very much classical philosophical ideas which he has thrown to this world. And these ideas plays very vital role for us or for our own existence, you see. And again, even if Kant also said men are rational, women are emotional. And here Kant is doing some kind of dual things, man and woman actually. He could have done the distinction as a humans. Here, man, among the humans, this kind of distinctions is also there also. So Descartes claimed that human have the mind and other beings are automata. You see, means not like human beings. Others animals like a machines, like automata. You see. Then there is also distinction because we are not taking. I am not saying that we should par with humans, there should be kind of less relative mind also existing, less kind of consciousness is existing in animals. And you will find in the Jainism, either the Vedanta, and all of them have claimed that there is kind of relative sense of consciousness is existing everywhere else. It's not that the human beings are only special species. Even some of the philosophical theses, if you find, it has been supported by these anthropocentric ideas. Even if you utilize religious ethics also, many times human being, the world is given to humans to enjoy actually. Enjoy, and in the name of enjoyment we are destroying, in the name of happiness we are destroying the nature, you see. Therefore this kind of things are plays very vital role. Now the discussions, the one of the important discussion is that why should humans have values and rights, etc., that other things do not have. What makes animals, trees and ecosystems valuable? But there are many deep ecological philosophers or deep ecologists, they have been claiming that there is no logical reason to regard human being as a more valuable than any other form of sentient beings. There is no logic actually. You cannot say that human beings are the only valuable. Can I exist without water? Can I exist without soil? This soil, you see, this land where I'm existing. Can I exist with earth, water, air? Because my body is the combination of earth, water, air. You see, ether. Empty space also is there. You see, ether. And therefore, I am part of this world. I should not dissociate. Even if Gautam Buddha, Buddhism, Gautam Buddha philosophy, Dr. Saroj Katkar is a Buddhist specialist and he may analyze more. And he claimed that everything and beings are interconnected. That is interrelated actually. All the things. This interrelated is a kind of conditional world. It is not that human being is the highest things, highest beings in this world. You see, conditionals. You see, within that conditions we have to respect the nature, as many other things also. The environmental, you see, the environmental philosophers insist that animals' life, the earth and the environment have an intrinsic worth, not just instrumental worth, as Kant assumes, Immanuel Kant. They call us the view that humans intrinsically more valuable, that everything else is speciesism. That speciesism is simply a prejudice, is a kind of a discrimination, is therefore unethical basis for environmental ethics. There is some kind of discrimination like man and woman, boys and girls. And these are the discrimination is a kind of a unethical prejudice. You see, many kind of domestic violence. Many times, even if I ate full of stomach, actually, my mother, she is not eating, she is giving me that same food actually. They say, no, 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 you have come, you eat more actually. You see, I said, it is you need also more food because you are also woman and your health should be protected. You see, it because you have been acting as a kind of an exploited woman. You see, an exploited woman. Then we are making the discriminations. If I am a boy because I have to eat more, and you are a woman, you have to eat less. That is not the things. Therefore, it is this kind of discrimination should not be there. Therefore, it is a kind of unethical on the basis of also environmental ethics. Few more questions about animals are not our to eat, to wear, experiment on, use for entertainment and abuse. We have been doing animals this kind of things. Entertainment, you see circus. We have been exploiting animals many times. You see, we have been eating animals. When wearing also clothes. You see, bottoms. Nowadays, many bottoms are available in the. I saw, especially Raymond shops actually recently. I did not know this. I said why this shirt is very costly. He said that bottom is from out of some shell actually, some teeth, animals teeth, because of that and all these things. How we see, because we see the community generally, because people will kill animals and wear actually this. And what is the aesthetic value of nature? We have to see what is the aesthetic value of nature. Do animals have moral status or values? Have you ever conducted experiment in science class using living animals? Have you ever dissected an animals in science classes? Do you own a pet? Do you think that it, he or she, because many times we say eat, animals as eat, but those who are animals, they say as either if it is a female dog, it is a she, if a male dog, it is a he. If you say dog, they will actually get angry. Therefore, keeping that in mind, I have mentioned it, eat, he and she. Experiences pain in the same way we do. What do you think is the main difference between animals and humans? Do animals have emotions? Do you think animals do or should have rights the way humans do? Is vivisection rights? Many times we have been doing vivisections, experimenting. And you see, nowadays we have been doing also this in COVID-19. we have been doing on animals, because we have protected in the case of COVID-19. It is completely from the beginning anthropocentric. Later on, some state government, central government, they said let us feed animals also on the street dogs and all these uh, religious places where lots of monkeys are there. They are also, because people are visiting and feeding them. Now people are not visiting; they are not able to get food also. But from the beginning, we have done everything else from the anthropocentrics. And later on, we realize the other things and things, then we are talking about non-anthropocentrics also. Animals welfare as an increasing value and ethical status for animals, because animal welfare is necessary. Kantian and the utilitarian ethics traditionally extended to all people, but only peoples. Can't all rational beings are end in themselves? Assumption only humans are rational, which like maybe humans, angels, or extraterrestrial or something. You see, again, utilitarians, they take that the pleasure and pains for the all conscious beings are of the equal considerations. You see, only humans have some kind of pleasure and pains. Many people say, peace doesn't get actual pain. I do not know. I do, I do not know that, but some people told me that they like this, and therefore, uh, in the past, use non-anthropocentric approach. We have to see in the past, slaves, women, people of other races were often not treated as persons, and their interests were not given considerations. Now we recognize all people as persons and extended all equal consideration to all people. Now we should extend equal ethical considerations to animals as well as plants, as well as to ecosystems. Even if earlier slave system was there, even if many slaves moved to London, especially mostly Indians and Africans, they have taken to United Kingdom, you see, before independent of our countries, you see. And like that, we have been working as slaves. And even if women were the slaves, many times you may one woman also marrying, sorry, one man is marrying 10 women. And you see, acid attack is happening, rape is happening, woman fetus has been killed. So therefore, we have been talking about women's right, in the woman rights should be protected. There should be equal considerations. And this kind of considerations should be extended to ecosystems. The way we are considering to slaves and women, the way we are considering to, even if somebody is a mad person, we are taking care. Therefore, ethics of care should be there. Ethics of care. Care is necessary. That approach is necessary for this. And we have duties to all animals. Their interest nearly always equal to those of humans. Biocentric egalitarianism. We have duties to all living things. Biocentric egalitarianism. It is not that egalitarianism is existing between the religious beliefs, between the religious practices, you see, or between the humans, you see, or from one society to another society. It is existing with all things and beings. Biocentric egalitarianism, you see. Whenever I see the nature, I feel very happy. Actually, your mind will be very fantastic. Therefore, we ought to pursue environmental justice. Environmental justice is necessary. But environmental justice is not happening. Poor man suffering. At Mumbai, if you see Mumbai city, poor man suffers. A rich man, he lives in the we drive a very costly car, lives in the AC house and AC office, and everything else is AC, air conditions. A poor man, he suffers. He releases all these bad factors to the world where a poor man suffers. And many times, many things also you will find some kind of a differences, environmental differences, or also injustice also is there. And this kind of things should not be there. It is a larger issue, is environmental justice actually. Environmental justice is not happening. And even if many times, many dump yard you will find in the slum areas, in the poor villages area, where the city you will find everything is cleaned. Therefore, there is a kind of unequal distribution of money, and everything else is, in the case of city, you see something is better in Pattamundai, something better than that, Bhubaneswar and Cuttack, but same thing is not available in the village. Therefore, the environmental justice is not happening. And we have duties to at least to some environmental objects. We have largely unspecified duties to the land ethics and ecological ethics. We have been in the name of productions, in the name of economy, we have been applying lots of pesticides in the land, and therefore we have been killing the soil. And again, those products are not good for human health. At the same time, we are harming ourselves. Not respecting environment means you are not respecting. You are not self-respecting. You see, respecting environment means you are respecting yourself. If you are not respecting environment, means you are not respecting, self-respecting. If you are not caring to environment, you are not caring yourself. You see, caring nature means caring, self-caring, which is a kind of self-caring. You are not doing something else, because if the whole ecosystem will collapse, human beings will collapse. You see, COVID-19 is the one of the greatest example for the present time. You see. Now, in the case of ecofeminism, you see, reject some kind of patriarchal dualisms, the dominance of nature by men, wrong in the similar and related to domination of women by men. You see, men has been dominating. Many huge tree has been cut down in the past by human beings, by man, not by women. You see, if any war happens, women suffer actually. Men dies in the battlefield, where the woman with senior citizens, with a small child, she suffer actually. She has to carry the family actually. You see, and she is a young woman, and where the husband is not there, the man has died in the battlefield. In the case of war, also this kind of things also is there. Therefore, we must break the pattern of power over relationship with benefit both man and woman. There should be some kind of natural uh, um, cooperation, many kind of natural this kind of acid attacks. I mean, you must have seen many kind of acid attacks around the world. Recently, also it happens some places. I think I heard. I think Maharashtra, some other place. I think 1 week back, this happened, and therefore this kind of things has been happening. Therefore, women has to be protected, and these kind of things should be there, and there should be some kind of equality to women, including there should not be any kind of domestic violence. Many times, in the name of culture, also kills women. Culture also kills women power. Also, you see. I am not saying that women will dominate on men. There should be equality. You see, equal consideration is necessary, and that kind of things is necessary because the woman is a part of the nature. Because we are treating nature as the woman. We see nature as a mother and woman as the mother. Neither nature is protected nor woman is protected. Both has been exploited, and this exploited is going in hand actually. Conception of nature and woman have been linked. Earth as a female and earthly animal likes. Devaluation and abuse of nature and women have gone hand in hand. To overcome these problems, we must analyze and resist both together and devise an ideal which liberate both woman and nature actually. Woman and nature. Expansion often made all oppressions like race, class, gender, elements are linked and need to be fought together. Many times there is a distinction between among the elderly persons, even if young persons, physically handicapped, which those are not physically, gender, class, this kind of differences. Therefore, this kind of differences we should avoid. This environmental ethics talks about this kind of things and ecosophy. And it connections between operation of woman and operation of nature. To understand this connection, solution to ecological problems must include a feministic perspective, spiritual connection of women with earth, nature, because of biological connections is there because of the biological systems. Woman is not supposed to do something some other things. Sometimes she is weak. That doesn't mean that biological is the some kind of demerit, some kind of limitations for the cultural things where we can dominate on women. Yeah. You see, many times these kind of discriminations among ourselves. Caste is another example also. That caste plays very vital role in this sense also. Uh, the spread of patriarchal civilization is not true progress, but rather than the extension of the domination of those in power. Individual and cultural diversity, like biodiversity, are the basis for cultural health and richness. True progress comes from multiplicity of individuals and cultures working in dialogue and cooperations. The ideal is to empower diverse individuals and cultural and engage them in culture, political, and environmental process. Therefore, sustainability is necessary. Without sustainability, the ecological indicator is not possible. The economical development is not possible. The social equity is not possible. Therefore, we should change our this human culture to nurture the nature, to protect the nature. If we protect the nature, we are protecting ourselves. And protecting ourselves plays very vital role for our environmental issue. Uh, let me speak some lines in Odia. ଓଡ଼ିଆରେ କହିବା ଟିକେ ବହୁତ ମାନେ ବହୁତ ଟର୍ମିନୋଲୋଜି କାହିଁକିନା ଏଠି ଆମର ଲିମିଟେସନ୍ ବି କାହିଁକିନା ଓଡ଼ିଆ ମିଡ଼ିୟମ୍ ଗାଁରେ ମୁଁ ଯାହା ହାଇସ୍କୁଲ ଯାହା ପଢ଼ିଥିଲି तापर आसला इाड़ को कथबार्ता जमी हो किंतु आउ क्लास रे पढ़ापढ़ी तो सेमती नहीं ओडिया रे एठी आउ जो परिवेश नीति शास्त्र बहुत very important case because it has been happening in our surroundings, even if in our village, in our city, in our home. Many times we are very much litter the things. We throw plastic pen and here and there. Even if we have been nowadays throwing mask also, please don't throw the mask. It is harm to the especially birds actually. Birds when they are moving here and there, it is their leg no ताको गोड़े चढ़ी मान गोड़े छंदी जाऊँगी जहाँफल यहाँ गोटे नुआ न्यूसेंस जिते बड़े लोक मैंने मास्क यूज कले मार्च मसरे मुझे मो कलिग मान सहित वर्किंग करी कैंपस आम यही कथा आम बर्तमान मनीष नोटरी स्विपिंग युवा सब फिंगर सबुआड़े फिंगर मानते सब गाई गोरु एगुड़ा सब खाइबे खाइला पेट भितर जीव पेट भितर गले सब बहुत बड़ी ये सब कम ये हम तापर आम जहाँफल कि बहुत नेचर बहुत माने बर्तमान घरचटिया चढ़ई आगुरी मुझे छोट थी आम चाल घर था बहुत घरचटिया चढ़ई आम घर थे बर्तमान घरचटिया चढ़ई मिलूना काऊ माने मिलूना इगल माने मिलूना बहुत प्रकार चढ़ई मुझे गाँ मुंडा कोकी शेळे ना सन्ध्या से बोबूनी कोकी शेळा कहीं आम बहुत सार फार आप्लाय कले जो केमिकल आप्लाय करे बहुत जिन आप्लाय करे इन द नेम ऑफ प्रोडक्शंस एंड इकोनॉमी we see richness means that there should be biodiversity means सब प्रकार हवा कथा आमे कुकुड़ा को एंटीबायोटिक दउछन पुनी कुकुड़ा मांस बढ़ुछ पुनी से मांस को हमें खाउछन तागर आम देह खराब होउछि पुनी हमको कैंसर होउछि विभिन्न प्रकार मु देखुछि वर्ष को बहुत थर आम ओडिसा रो बहुत मोर चिन्हा पड़छ जे कैंसर पेशेंट टाटा हॉस्पिटल को आसंती किछि समय मु जाई ब्लड दान देबा पय जति मोर सख्य किछि किछि लोक गाणी घरे किछि 15 दिन 20 दिन रखि कि तांको नेगी जाई छी देखैछि हेल्थ केस रे बुझी पारछ जहाँ फल कि मु देखुछि कि या द्वारा के माने आमे निजे निजको मारुछुती ना नेचर को मारुछुती निजे को मारिबा ना निजे बंचिबा ना हमर परिवेश बंचिबो बुझी परिवेश बंचिले आमे बंचिबा therefore परिवेश we should protect our nature actually then we can protect आमे small दिस मु जेबे गाँव गले मु कोन जिंस गुडी फोपाडे पान दुकान ठिया आइतले मु पान खाइनी मु ताहु कहे काहे पान पके छेप पकले से छेपर बसुची माछी बसी गासी एठी से बरा छाणुची बरा घुगुनी छाणुची सेठी बसुची ताकू तम पिला आसी खाउछन रोग होउची बिना चप्पल रे पिला बुलुछन एठी ताकू यो होउची एवडा सब बहुत कथा सब कहे तुमे दे पान खाउछ गोटे ड्रम रख ड्रम को सफा कर गोटे ये कर किंतु लोक माने मानु नाती से माने सिगरेट टाणीबे माने एमिति सब काम करिए परिवेश दूषित करिवे सिगरेट भोग कहबे तो आमे तो गरीब लोक आमे कोन खाइ सिगरेट किलो केते जानछ 800 900 टका मु तमे तो दामिका जिनिस खाउछ गुटका किलो होउछ 1000 2000 टका किलो मु आमे तो साधारण खाउछ माछ फाछ खाउछ कि अनान खाउछ आम गोत्र पैसा थिला आमे एति का करछ यदि खाउछ मैक्सिमम सेया करछ तमे तो ये दामिका जिनिस खाइ कि तमे कहछ हम गरीब तुम गोत्र बहुत पैसा अछि तमे सब परिवेश सब असना कर सब फोपाड़ सब गाँ आगुरी कौन सब जहाँ सब अड़िया आवर्जना होता सब नहीं खत फोपाड़े आजिकल खत बिल्कुल जाऊनी कहीं बहुत पिला भी आम ये अच्छे मुझे आम गाँव में जाकि गोटे खाल खोलिकी निजे मो बड़ापा को कहीकि खत रखा बड़ापा कह आजिकल मुझे मजुरा न मिलूँ आम हाथ पैसा जाऊ कि खतटा जाए बिलर पड़ो यही बिल धानटा आम खाइबा आउ जो बिल धान सब तुम बिकी दे पछे यही बिल धान गुड़ा आम सब खाइबा बुझी आउ सी भी चाहते सार पका मैंने एत केमिकल पकाऊ मिनिमम केमिकल पकाओ जहाँफल आम एनवायरमेंटल प्रोडक्ट आगुरी बहुत गाँ गोटा नड़िया नाल नर्दम बहुत माछ फाछ मिलूला सार द्वारा ये सब किसी आम मिलूनी कहीं आम पट्टामुंडई राजकनिका आम सब केन्द्रापड़ा डिस्ट्रिक्ट यही सब एरिया आमर मेन परिवा हूँ माछ आगुरी थी एवं से सब जिनस ना जहाँकि रासायनिक जिनस आप्लाय करी सब जिनस आम माने बिना सीजन भी फूलकोबी भी खाऊँ जहाँफल कि कोल्ड स्टोर जिनस जहाँफल देहटा खराब हो सब मार्केट उपर डिपेंड कर पैकिंग जिनस निजे घरे तैयारी करूना आम ये बम्बे ये प्राय मैक्सिमम लोक ये निजे घर तैयारी करते बम्बे कहते बड़ सिटी कितु ये सब लोक निजे घर तैयारी कर मैक्सिमम लोक कम लोक रेस्टोरेंट कहीं जहाँ छोट घर बैचलर लोक समस्त कम करते बोली से रेस्टोरेंट खाते कहीं ह्यूमन पावर बहुत मानने ह्यूमन पावर मीन्स मैन लेबर बहुत पैसा दरकार पड़े था तेणुक आम एनवायरमेंटल प्रोटेक्शन करवा आईटा हूँ मेन फिलोसफी ही देव दर्शन आ फिलोसफिकल नॉलेज थिले आपण एनी काम करि परिबे एनी आइडियाज रीजनिंग पावर भल स्ट्रांग रहिबो यू स्टडी फॉर द सेक ऑफ फिलोसफी नॉट फॉर द सेक ऑफ एनीथिंग एल्स अगेन फिलोसफी विल टेक केयर ऑफ योरसेल्फ एक्चुअली फिलोसफी If you take care of your educations, money, everything else, house, everything will take care. If you do not take care of your education, nothing will take care. ନା ପଇସା ଆସିବ, ନା ମନି ଆସିବ, ନା ଏନଭାରମେଣ୍ଟ କିଛି କରିପାରିବନି। ତେଣୁକରି ଯାହା ଯୋଉଟା ପାଠ ପଢୁଛ ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କୁ ସଜେସନ୍ସ, କାହିଁକିନା ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କ ସାର୍ ଆମକୁ କହିଥିଲେ ଏଇଭଳି ଲାଷ୍ଟକୁ କିଛି ପିଲାଙ୍କୁ କହିଲେ ଚଳିବ, ପଢ଼ାପଢ଼ି କର, ଯଦି ଫିଲୋସଫି କରୁଛ ଭଲ ଫିଲୋସଫି ପଢ଼, ଆଉ ଫିଲୋସଫି ପଢ଼ିକି ବି ଅନ୍ୟାନ୍ୟ ଏକ୍ଜାମ୍ ବି ଦେଇପାରିବ, ରେଲୱେ ପରୀକ୍ଷା ଦେଇପାରିବ, ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କିଂ ଦେଇପାରିବ, ଅନ୍ୟାନ୍ୟ ବିଭିନ୍ନ ସବୁ ଜିନିଷ ଅଛି, ଆଉ ପ୍ରିପେୟାର କରିପାରିବ। କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମେ ନାଁକୁ ଆଡ଼ମିସନ୍ କଲେଜରେ କରୁଛନ୍ତି କିନ୍ତୁ ବୁଲୁଛନ୍ତି। ମୋର ଗାଁରେ ମୋର କଜିନ୍ ସିଷ୍ଟର ମାନେ ସେମାନେ ସବୁ ଗ୍ରାଜୁଏସନ୍ ପାସ୍ କରିଛନ୍ତି କିନ୍ତୁ ସେମାନେ ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କର ଫର୍ମ ଫିଲ୍ଅପ୍ କରିପାରିବେ। ତୁମେ ଯଦି ଷ୍ଟେଟ୍ ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କ ଅଫ୍ ଇଣ୍ଡିଆରେ ସବୁ ଫର୍ମ ଫିଲ୍ଅପ୍ କରିପାରିବ ୱିଦାଉଟ୍ ଆସ୍କିଂ ଟୁ ଏନି ୱାନ୍ ଏଲ୍ସ, କାହାକୁ ନ ପଚାରିକି ତମେ ଯେକୌଣସି ଚାକିରି ଚେଷ୍ଟା କରିବ ମିଳିବ। ବ୍ୟାଙ୍କରେ ଯଦି ନିଜେ ଯାଇକି କେମିତି ଲୋନ୍ କରୁଥିବ, ଯାହା କରୁଥିବ, ବୁଢ଼ା ଲୋକ ଯଦି ସାହାଯ୍ୟ କରିପାରିବ ଶିଖିବ, ସେଇ କାମଟା ହେଉଛି ଏକ୍ଜାମ୍ରେ କିଛି କଷ୍ଟ ଜିନିଷ ଆସେନି। କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମର ପିଲାମାନେ କିଛି ମୁଁ ଦେଖୁଛି ଗାଁରେ ପିଲାମାନେ ସେଇ ସବୁ ଆଇଡ଼ିଆ ବି ନାହିଁ କିଛି, ଯେଉଁଟାକି ଶିଖିନାହାନ୍ତି, ଯେଉଁଟାକି ଏଇ ସମୟରେ ଏଇ ବୟସରେ ଶିଖିବା କଥା ହେଲା। ଏଇ ବୟସରେ ଶିଖିଲେ କିଛି ଆଗକୁ ଆମେ କରିପାରିବା। ଏଇଠି ନା ବହୁତ ଲୋକ କୁହନ୍ତି ଫିଲୋସଫି ପଢ଼ିଲେ ଚାକିରି ନାହିଁ, ଇଏ ନାହିଁ, ସିଏ ନାହିଁ। ଚାକିରି ଅଛି କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମେ ଠିକ୍ରେ କରିପାରୁନାହାନ୍ତି ବୋଲି ଆମକୁ ଚାକିରି ମିଳୁନି। वी हैव टू प्रेजेंट आवरसेल्फ बिफोर अदर्स। फिलोसफी कहीं इंग्लिश लिटरेचर, हिस्ट्री, ऑल्सो पॉलिटिकल साइंस। मोर पॉलिटिकल साइंस सांग माने जो मान सब पीएचडी करछन्ती हिस्ट्री, से दे आर डूइंग वेरी गुड एक्चुअली, यू सी। किंतु पढ़िया पड़ो, आम किसी काम करवानी कह आमर होनी चाकरी, ये होनी सी होनी, से सब फिलोसफी पढ़ी गला सब्जेक्ट को बदनाम कराऊनी, कहीं मोर ओके आउ किसी बेसी कथा कहबिनी। केबे आसिले ओडिशा आसिले गाँव गले भावुची कॉलेज गले केबे गोटे टॉक देवी, आउ एति कहिक रहउची। जदि किछि क्वेश्चन पचारे 10 मिनिट अछि आउरी मोर, आ किछि क्वेश्चन पचारे अछि पचारंतु। थैंक यू वेरी मच। थैंक यू Madhusmita for your invitations and constantly in touching with us also. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. It was very informative session. Thank you, sir, for sharing your thoughts and enlightening us and answering all. Sorry, sir. Thank you, sir. No questions. Our students.
Questions from anyone else?
It was a nice presentation, sir.
I can ask like a student. I ask from here actually by name.
Sir, our students Pattamundai from West Bengal.
Yes.
His question cannot understand anything.
Also, at the end, I spoke in Odia only. From the beginning, I have spoken everything else in English. If you have heard from the beginning PPT, if you have any questions, you can ask me. I spoke about ecosophy and its philosophical issues, including philosophical theories. I have shown you Kantianism, utilitarianism, even if Cartesian dualism also there I have shown you, and I have critiqued them, also criticized all those ideas because those ideas based on humanistic perspective, not from the non-human perspective. Although they talk about non-human being also, means other sentient beings in different perspectives. But in that sense, I have explained. If you have anything else, I talk about deep ecology, ecofeminisms, non-anthropocentric ethics, and if you have anything else, Pattamundai, you can ask me. Yes, Snigdha is there.
No, sir.
Yes.
Actually, sir. Hello.
Yeah, tell me.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, actually, sir. I see. I checked the chat box. There is not any questions. So thank you, sir, for your very beautiful presentation. I hope that our students will be benefited from your presentation. Now, sir, we have another interaction session after the end of the presentation by all the resource persons. So, thank you, sir. Once again, I thank you from inner core of my heart for presenting a beautiful seminar talk before our students. So now I would like to invite Dr. Ramachandra Maji sir, former professor Ravenshaw University Cuttack. Sir, please sir, you can go for your presentation. Thank you sir.
अच्छा ठीक है धन्यवाद मो सुनी पारछ तो मो कथाटा ना नहीं
हाँ हाँ सर सुन बुझ
It's audible,
Sir, yes sir, the voice is audible.
अच्छा ठीक
Yes sir,
ठीक
voice is audible sir.
ठीक है तो प्रथम तो पट्टामुंडाई महाविद्यालय अध्यक्ष निमंत्रण करथिरु मो बहुत बहुत कृतज्ञता प्रकाश करछि मधुस्मिता विशेष कर प्रथम आरंभ माने मते फोन रे कथा आइतिला आ कहले सर आम गोटे वेबिनार करूछु आपण आसले आम खुशी हबु तो बहुत भल कथा कॉलेज रे आम आगुरु केबे वेबिनार हवा सुन नथुलो आजिकली सब टेक्नोलॉजी सब एडवांस करलानी तापर कोविड परिवेश भितर समस्त किसी ना किसी करछंती तो बहुत खुशी कथा जे जहाँ मु शुणिली अध्यक्ष ए पर्यंत 46 टी वेबिनार कर चलानी एटा होची 47तम वेबिनार आउ तारि भितरे राजकिशोर को देखली आउ सरोज को देखली चिन्ना मोह
सर आपनका वीडियोटा हम देखि परनु सर
वीडियोटा
वीडियो
देखियो
ऑन
ने
करंतु सर
आमे देखि परछु
यस सर यस
अच्छा ठीक है तो
हां सर ठीक है आगे
तबे देखियो तो हां
यस सर इट्स विजिबल
अच्छा हाँ ठीक तो सरोज और राजकिशोर एम तीन मान देखिकी बहुत भल लगिला जे खाली मु आसिनी सरोज राजकिशोर भी अच्छी से मैंने भी मतामत कथा कही राजकिशोर तो कहला मु विशेष करके गोटे आमर ईशा भाष्य उपनिषद गोटे श्लोक को आधार करके मोर मत विचार रखी तो गोटे प्रथम श्लोकटा ईशा भाष्य उपनिषदर सेटा हूँ पढ़ी दूसरी ईशा ईशा भाष्य इदम सर्व यत् किंचित जगत्याम जगत तेन त्यक्तने भुंजिथा माँ ब्रुव कस्यचित् ध्यानम एटा हूँ ईशावास्य उपनिषदर प्रथम श्लोक सेटा को अरविंद श्री अरविंद ताको अनुवाद करथिले भलिया ऑल दिस इज फॉर हैबिटेशन आई बाय द लॉर्ड whatever is individual universe of movement in the universal motion by that renown those who enjoy lost not after any man's possession माने यार अर्थटा है जे संसार रे जहाँ तुम सब देखुच एटा समर नुह ए जो विश्व ब्रह्मांड अच्छी से प्रभु ये सब लीला जदि लीला शब्द व्यवहार कर विश्व मूल कथा है तमर नुह जड़े आम जदि धार्मिक दृष्टिकोण रू देखा आध्यात्मिक दृष्टिकोण रू देखा ताले आम कह संसार जन किए विशेष माने प्रभु अच्छा जी कि संसार टाक चलाऊँ संसार जावतीय जिन सब अच्छी संसार रे ही तार मालिक आम किसी नुह तो आमर ताले कौन आम कौन करवा आमर तो किसी नुह आम करवा कौन तार जो द्वितीय वाक्यटा अच्छी से कहते तमे लोभ करनी अन्यर जिनस को ऊपर आखि पकेबनी माने अपरिग्रह जो कनसेप्ट अच्छी आमर कथाटा तो से अपरिग्रह जो प्रत्ययटा अच्छी जे तमें निजर जोटा नुहे तमें निजपाई रखनी नब ना तमें उत्सर्ग करी भोग कर गांधी भी से कथा गांधी जो कहते फिलोसफी ऑफ लाइफ श्लोक ही से मूल बोली धरनी तो यही ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଈଶାବାସ୍ୟ ଉପନିଷଦର ଯୋଉ ଶ୍ଲୋକଟା ଅଛି ତାରି ଉପରେ ହିଁ ନିର୍ଭର କରିକିରି ମୁଁ ମୋ ଲେଖାଟାକୁ ପ୍ରସ୍ତୁତ କରିଛି। ଆଚ୍ଛା, ତ ଇଂରାଜୀରେ ଲେଖା ହେଇଛି, ତ ମୁଁ ତାକୁ କିଛି କିଛି ଇଂରାଜୀରେ ପଢ଼ିବି ଆଉ କିମ୍ବା ତାକୁ ଆଧାର କରିକିରି ମୁଁ ଆପଣମାନଙ୍କୁ ଜଣାଇବି। ଆମେ ଯଦି ଦେଖିବା ଏଇ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ଆମେ ସମସ୍ତେ ସେ ଜାଣିପାରିବା ଗୁଗୁଲ ସର୍ଚ୍ଚ କଲେ ସବୁ ପ୍ରକାର କଥା
ବୁଝିପାରୁନି, ମୁଁ ବି ସେଟାକୁ ପଢି ଦେଇକି ତାଙ୍କୁ କହିଦେଲି, ସେ କିଛି ବୁଝିପାରିଲାନି ନା,
ଏ ବା
ଓଡିଆ କହିଦେଲେ।
ଆଚ୍ଛା, ତ ଆଚ୍ଛା ବାପି ମଣ୍ଡଳ ବୁଝିପାରୁନି ନା, ତ ଇଂରାଜୀରେ କହିବି ନା କଣ?
ନାଇଁ ନାଇଁ ସାର୍, ସେ ନନ୍ ଓଡିଆ ସାର୍, ତ ସାର୍ ଯୋଉ ଓଡିଆରେ ଯେତେବେଳେ କହିଲେ ସେ ବୁଝିପାରିଲାନି, ସେ ୱେଷ୍ଟ ବେଙ୍ଗଲର ସାର୍।
ଆଚ୍ଛା, ହଁ ବୁଝିଲି।
ତ ତାର କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ଥିଲା, ସେ ସେଇଠିକାର ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ, ଡାଇରେକ୍ଟ ଷ୍ଟୁଡେଣ୍ଟ ସାର୍ ତାଙ୍କର, ରାଜକିଶୋର ସାରଙ୍କର, ତ ସେ ଓଡିଆଟା ବୁଝିପାରିଲାନି ସେଥିପାଇଁ।
ଆଚ୍ଛା ଆଚ୍ଛା, ଆଉ ତାହେଲେ ମୁଁ ଠିକ ଅଛି, ଗୋଟେ ପାରାଗ୍ରାଫ ଇଂରାଜୀରେ କହିକି ତାପରେ ତାର ଆମେ ଓଡିଆରେ କହିଲେ ତାର ବି ଲାଭ ହବ, ମୋର ଅନ୍ୟ ପିଲାମାନଙ୍କର ମଧ୍ୟ ଲାଭ ହବ। The need for preservation and protection of our environment has become a pressing concern for all of us. The reasons for it are not hard to find. Research findings and news items on it are conspicuously growing. One source of pollution is the hazardous nature of electronic trash. 50 million tons of electronic waste are generated every year all over the world, according to UN report. And then according to the Global E-Waste Monitor 2017, India generates about 2 million tons of metric tons of e-waste annually and ranks fifth among e-waste producing countries after the USA, China, Japan, Germany. About 90% of India's e-waste is recycled in the informal sector and in a crude manner. ମାନେ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଇଂରାଜୀ ଯେତିକି କଥା ମୁଁ କହିଲି ତାର ମୂଳ ସାରାଂଶଟା ହେଲା ଯେ ଆମେ ବର୍ଷରେ 50 ମିଲିୟନ ଟନ୍ ୟୁଏସ୍ ତିଆରି ମାନେ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରୁଛୁ ସାରା ବିଶ୍ୱରେ, ଆଉ ଭାରତରେ 2 ମିଲିୟନ ମେଟ୍ରିକ ଟନ୍ ଆମେ ସୃଷ୍ଟି କରୁଛେ। ଇଏ ତ ହେଲା ଖାଲି ଇ ୱେଷ୍ଟ, ଇଲେକ୍ଟ୍ରୋନିକ ୱେଷ୍ଟ, ମାନେ କମ୍ପ୍ୟୁଟର, ମୋବାଇଲ, ଅଦର ଜିନିଷ ସବୁ ଅଛି। ତା ଛଡା ସଲିଡ ୱେଷ୍ଟ କଥା ତ ବହୁତ, ଯେତେ ମାନେ ଗାଁ ଗହଳିରେ ଏତେ ସଲିଡ ୱେଷ୍ଟ ସଲିଡ ୱେଷ୍ଟ ହୁଏନି, ଯାହା ୱେଷ୍ଟ ହୁଏ ସେଟା ଖତ ହେଇଯାଉଥିଲା ଆଗରୁ। ଆଜିକାଲି ବି ଗାଁ ଗହଳିରେ ମଧ୍ୟ ପ୍ଲାଷ୍ଟିକ ପଲିଥିନ୍ ଚାରିଆଡେ ମାଳ ହେଇକି ଉଡୁଛି ପବନରେ। ତ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ଇଲେକ୍ଟ୍ରୋନିକ ୱେଷ୍ଟ ଯୋଉ ଟ୍ରାନ୍ସଫର, ମୁଁ ଖାଲି ଜଷ୍ଟ ଗୋଟେ ଉଦାହରଣ ପାଇଁ ଦେଲି, ବହୁତ ପଲ୍ୟୁସନ ହଉଛି ମାନେ so this is just only one of the items of land pollution. It is a common place for a traveler to face mountains of solid garbage, first at the outskirts of an Indian city. In addition to these, there are water and air pollutants. Environmental pollution challenges our conception of development that we have borrowed from the West. It also challenges our attitude towards nature, towards the earth, where millions of species live. The attitude also came from the West along with the notion of development and the technology that promises to execute the notion. तो विशेष करी पश्चिमरू आम से जो विकास कौन से जिनसटा से कथाटा आम आनिकी से जो भाया कहते विकास से धारणाटा को लेकिन से विकास को केमी करहब, कौ टेक्नोलोजी मध्यम सेगुड़ाक आम अनुकरण बर्तमान आम भारत में करुचे। Scientists, environmentalists, activists, and philosophers of the West are raising voices against massive exploitation of nature, predominantly by the West. But most of the developing and developed nations of the world are also involved. They express deep concern about the future of the earth and those who make it their habitat. The concern of these serious thinkers is reflected in two objectives. One is to find a perspective in which the future of mankind is assessed, and the other is to find a perspective in which intrinsic worth of nature is also recognized. माने ଯେତିକି ମୁଁ କହିଲି ପାରାଗ୍ରାଫରେ ଏଥିରେ ମାନେ ତାର ମାନେ ଯୋଉମାନେ ବୈଜ୍ଞାନିକ ମାନେ ପରିବେଶବିତ ମାନେ ଆକ୍ଟିଭିଷ୍ଟ ମାନେ ଦାର୍ଶନିକ ମାନେ ପଶ୍ଚିମରେ ଏଇ ସବୁ କଥା ଗୁଡାକ ଉଠେଇଛନ୍ତି କାହିଁକିନା ସେମାନେ ଅନୁଭବ କରିପାରୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଆମର ଯୋଉ ଜୀବନ ଶୈଳୀଟା ଆମକୁ କୁଆଡକୁ ନଉନାହିଁ। ତ ଆମେ ଅନ୍ୟ ଗୋଟେ ଚିନ୍ତା କରିବାର ଅଛି, ଗୋଟେ ପ୍ରକାର ବିଚାର କରିବାର ଅଛି, ଆଉ ଗୋଟେ ଅଲଗା ବିଚାର ନେବାର ଅଛି ଯେଉଁଥିରେ କି ମଣିଷ ମାନଙ୍କର ଭବିଷ୍ୟତ, ମଣିଷ ମାନଙ୍କର ଆଶା ଆକାଂକ୍ଷା ପୂରଣ ହୋଇପାରୁଥିବ, ତା ସହିତ ପ୍ରକୃତି ଉପରେ ଯୋଉ ଏଇ ଯୋଉ ନିର୍ବିଚାରରେ ଯୋଉ ପ୍ରକାର ନିଷ୍ପେଷିତ ମାନେ ପ୍ରକୃତି ହଉଛି ସେଥିରୁ କେମିତି ପ୍ରକୃତି ରକ୍ଷା ପାଇପାରିବ। ଏକରେ ମଣିଷ ମାନଙ୍କର ବି ସୁବିଧା ହେଉଥିବ ଆଉ ପ୍ରକୃତିର ମଧ୍ୟ ସୁବିଧା ହେଉଥିବ। ମାନେ ଏମିତି ଦେଖିବାକୁ ଗଲେ ମଣିଷ ବି ତ ପ୍ରକୃତିର ଗୋଟେ ଅଂଶ। ତ ଏମିତି ହେଲେ ମାନେ ଦେଖିବାକୁ ଗଲେ ପ୍ରକୃତି କେମିତି ସୁବିଧାରେ ସୁବିଧା ହବ ସେଇଟା ହଉଛି ଗୋଟିଏ ମାନେ ମୂଳ ବିଚାର। ତା ଦେହରେ ମଣିଷର କଥାଟା ଯେହେତୁ ମଣିଷ ହିଁ ଚିନ୍ତା କରୁଛି ଏଇ ସବୁ ମାନେ ଭଲ ମନ୍ଦ କଥା, ସେଇଠି ମଣିଷ କଥା ମଧ୍ୟ ଆସୁଛି ଆଗକୁ। Once we talk about this intrinsic worth of nature, जे प्रकृतिर मूल्यवान एई जो कथाटा जो कहूँ आम फिलोसफिकल डिस्कशन रे इंट्रिंसिक इंस्ट्रूमेंटल जोटा राजकिशोर आगु कही विभिन्न प्रकार पर्सपेक्टिव कथा भी कही, एंथ्रोपोसेंट्रिक कथा कही, डीप इकोलॉजी कथा कही, इको फेमिनिज्म कथा कही, माने एगुड़ा सब वेस्टर्न कन्सेप्शन ऑफ द अप्रोच टू एनवायरनमेंट। तो सही पर्सपेक्टिव भितर जो आलोचना कराऊँगी कैंटियन मोशन जो इंट्रिंसिक और इंस्ट्रूमेंटल वैल्यू कथा आसूची मैन आर इंट्रिंसिक बोली से आगे कही सारी we should treat them as ends, not as means in a Kantian approach to humankind. So सेठी जेतले ଆମେ इंट्रिंसिक कथा कहूचे कोन होची देखिया। Once we talk about this intrinsic worth of nature, the issue becomes problematic. Traditionally, two distinct categories of values are conceived. One is the intrinsic value of a thing and the other is the instrumental value of a thing. Something is of intrinsic value if it is good or desirable in itself. In contrast, something is of instrumental value if it is a means to some other end or purpose. Given these two distinct categories of value and that nature has intrinsic worth, given that nature has intrinsic worth, whether we can use nature for human purposes is the issue I will take up in this paper. जे जदि आमे प्रकृति को भाविबा जे प्रकृतिर मूल्यबोधटा रे माने स्व मूल्यबोध माने तार निजर मूल्य अच्छी ताकू आमे व्यवहार करू पारू कि न करी पारू, तार जो गारिमा अच्छी से गारिमाटा को आमे तार हानि पहुंचे पारिबानी। तो प्रकृतिर जदि गारिमा निजस्व गारिमा अच्छी, निजस्व गारिमा से आलोकित ताहले आमे ताकू व्यवहार करि परिबा कि फिलोसॉफिकल क्वेश्चन, वेरी इंपोर्टेंट फिलोसॉफिकल क्वेश्चन। जदि गोटे गोटे वस्तु थिंग कहले माने गोटे बहुत जनरल टर्म रे कहउची जे जदि इफ ए थिंग इज इंट्रिंसिक देन हाउ कैन वी यूज इट, बिकॉज़ बाय डेफिनेशन you cannot use something which has intrinsic worth. So there are millions of species, ecosystems and other inanimate things in nature. Further, there are innumerable members of species. How shall we morally relate ourselves with the members of other species? There are great many literatures on our moral responsibility towards a species or its ecosystem. there may be some sort of moral responsibility of the human species towards other species. But I think fundamentally it is the individual that matters at the root. Species or systems may have moral worth. We may have concern or responsibility towards them derivatively from the moral worth, concern or responsibility towards a member or an individual. माने विशेष करी मैं ये कहना चाहूँगी जे आमे जनकर जो नैतिक स्वतंत्रता बा नैतिक मूल्य अच्छी बोली आमे कहूचे सेटा किए सेटा होची माने गोटे व्यक्ति व्यक्ति माने मेठी मु कहूची जे माने से गोटे मनीष होइताउ बा कुकुर होइताउ बा बिलेई होइताउ बा गोटे पिंपुड़ी होइताउ कि माने सही अर्थ में कहूची व्यक्ति जे जदी से कि आमे कुकुर जाति कहवा कि गाई पल्ल कहवा कि पूरा माने आमे कहवा जे जंगल रे जो जेते सब गछ लता वृक्ष अछि जो सेमानकर भल मंद कथा कहवा ताले प्रथमे ही से व्यक्ति जो कथा ही गोष्ठीर कथा आसे बोली मैं कहूँ So assuming that it is the relation of individuals, the next issue is how I being a human or a moral agent or a moral person should relate myself with the members of other species. So ମୁଁ ଯଦି ମୁଁ ଗୋଟେ ବ୍ୟକ୍ତି ହିସାବରେ ମୋର ଅନ୍ୟମାନଙ୍କ ସହିତ ସମ୍ପର୍କ ହେବା ଦରକାର ତାହେଲେ ମୁଁ ଆଉ ଜଣେ ମଣିଷ ସହିତ ମୋର କିଭଳି ସମ୍ପର୍କ ହେବା ଦରକାର ନୈତିକତା ଦୃଷ୍ଟିରୁ ଆଉ अन्य जीव मान प्रति से कुकुड़ा हो कि छेली हो कि गाई हो कि कुकुर हो कि बिलेई हो कि बाघ हो कि सिंह हो कि साप हो कि कुंभीर हो ता प्रति मोर किपरि भाव रहिबो नैतिक भाव किपरि रहिबो सेटा होची मोर चिंतार विषय. So this has been challenged by modern thinkers. It is suggested that not only we have moral responsibility to our fellow human beings, we also have the responsibility to other sentient beings. Some have traced it to non-sentient such as species, forest and ecosystem. माने फिलो हम दार्शनिक चिंताधारा जो आमर अछि पश्चिम रे आमर भारत माने दार्शनिक चिंताधारा रे खाली आम व्यक्ति प्रति बा मनुष्य प्रति आमर नैतिक भाव रहा दरकार सेटा नुहे गोष्ठी मान प्रति रहा दरकार माने सारा जीव जगत कथा कहूँ कि सारा परिवेश प्रति कहूँ आम नदी नाल पानी माने पर्वत जंगल प्रति आमर सम्मान श्रद्धा रहा उचित बोली अन्य दार्शनिक मैंने कहते माने व्यक्ति भाव में छाड़िक यही पहाड़ मुंडिया पहाड़टा कथा नुहे पहाड़ मान पहाड़ जिते सब अच्छे जंगल यही गछ को नुह कि गछ नुहे जंगल पूरा तो से दृष्टि नदी माने यही आम गाँ कुठ पानी गोलिया से कथा नुहे नदी गोलिया अर्थर सेगुड़ी तार मूल्य अच्छी सेगुड़ी प्रति आम श्रद्धा सामान रहा दरकार बोली अन्य नायक चिंता नायक माने कहते. When we talk about our moral responsibility towards others, an important distinction has to become in mind. What distinction we have to keep in mind? The distinction between our responsibility towards our fellow beings and our responsibility towards members of other species. माने मु कहया चाहूँ जे आमे गोटे मोरल एजेंट हिसाब रे माने नीतिमान हिसाब रे हमकु कौन करियार अछि प्रथम तो हमकु मनुष्य मान प्रति केमि व्यवहार करिया को हबो सेटा गोटे देखिया पड़ियो आउ मनुष्य छड़ा आउ जेते जीव जगत अछि सेमान सहित हम केमि व्यवहार करिया पड़ियो सेटा को मन ठीक है अलग रखिया पड़ियो दी जोटा को समान कर देले हबो नै काहे कि दीटा गोष्ठी कर नैतिक मूल्यबोध टिके अलग अलग कहीं टिके अलग अलग कहूँ मनीष क्षेत्र में देखो, take the example of human beings. We are all moral agents, माने in comparison to other non-human beings, we are moral agents, they are moral objects. No such community, common interest and mutual obligations bind us into a moral community. So far as human beings are concerned, no such community is shared by the members of human species and the members of the species. अन्य जीव जगत सहित आमर से भली common interest, mutual obligation नहीं. Though we may share some other commonalities, आम सेमान सहित किछिटा सामंजस्य अछि, such as feeling pain and pleasure. खाली आमे हमकु बाड़ेले मारले पिटले कि सुंची फोड़ देले कि हमकु काटू नहीं, अन्य जीव मानको जो माने माने पेन अनुभव करिवार शक्ति अछि सेमानकु मध्य कष्ट हो. बिलेटाकु पिटले मध्य तो काटिबो, कुकुरटाकु गोइठा मारले भी ताकु काटिबो, ताकु गोटे पत्थरटे फोपाडले मध्य ताकु काटिबो. से कॉमनलिटी अछि, किंतु ए जो मोरल सेंस ऑफ गिल्ट भली जोटा कहते लाज लगे कथा कहते यही जिनसा कौन मनुष्य मान पाखे हुए. जदि से अन्य जीव जगत भी कम्युनिटी अच्छी, कम्युनिटी ऑफ आर्ट्स जो से मिलमिशिक काम करते, किंतु यही जो कम्युनिटी कथा मुझे कहूँ मोराल कम्युनिटी, से माने मोराल कम्युनिटी सृष्टि करें ना कहीं प्रकृति ही सृष्टि होती मनुष्य मैंने ही चिंता करी भल मंद विचार कर क्षमता रखते, अन्य मैंने रखी ना कहीं रखा न रखा खराब गुण से मुझे कहूना यहाँ हूँ गोटे बाय नेचर माने प्रकृति में ही सृष्टि इट इज गिवन टू अस. This distinction between a moral agent and moral object will be helpful, I believe, in sorting out our relation with other members of other species. The distinction between intrinsic value and instrumental value is different from the distinction between moral agents and moral objects. For example, a human being may have both intrinsic value and instrumental value, such as a rickshaw puller or a university professor may have. Both are serving someone else for money. In contrast, a moral object cannot be a moral agent. For example, a bacteria or a mosquito is not a moral agent. They simply lack this quality. Can a moral agent become a moral object? It seems that when we hang a person for the crime he committed, we do treat him as a moral agent as well as a moral object. कहीं ना मोराल एजेंट है जे सी जो कामटा करी जन को मारी सी जानी ये भूल कामटा कथा किंतु से करी तो से एजेंट हिसाब से तार भल मंद विचार कर अवश्य प्रश्न उठी पारे जो मैंने हार्डकोर क्रिमिनाल से भल मंद विचार न थाए जनरल स्पीकिंग साधारण लोक मारदेला बेले जानते खराब कामटा बोली किंतु ताकू जो आम पनिशमेंट दौचे आमर कामटा हूँ मोराल एजेंट हो गले किंतु गोटे आज ए रेसिपिएंट ऑफ आवर मोराल डिसीजन से गोटे मोराल ऑब्जेक्ट हो जाए किए क्रिमिनालटा किंतु जिते व्हेन आई किल ए मस्किटो बिकॉज इट बीट मी आई ट्रीट इट एज ए मोराल ऑब्जेक्ट नॉट एज ए मोराल एजेंट मशा से कामुड़ा बेले भावुनी मुझे कामुड़ी कष्ट हो राति शोई पानी बुढ़ा लोकटा मशार भितर पशिक कामुड़ी दौर तो से कौन गिल्ट से अनुभव कर मशा ना कि मुझे मारुची मुझे अरे से मत कामुड़ी देला मत कष्ट है कि मुझे मारिदेली माने से टिके कामुड़िया भितर टिके मो देह रक्त नहीं गला किंतु मु रागिक मारिदेली जीवन टाक नहीं गली तो से कौन हो आई एम फीलिंग लिटिल बिट रिमोर्स अबाउट दैट आई हैव किल्ड ए mosquito means I took his life because the mosquito gave me little pain by biting me. A moral agent is a moral person who has actual or potential ability to make moral deliberations. Moral objects do not have that capacity. They are just recipient of moral goods delivered by moral agents. Moral appeal cannot be made to moral objects. Moral appeal is directed towards moral agents only. It is clear from the discussion that only human beings have the capacity of being moral agents. Other sentient and non-sentient are moral objects. A moral agent has moral responsibility towards moral agents as well as to moral objects. But the responsibility towards the agents need not be same as the responsibility towards the object. After all, why do we want to be moral? Because it helps us lead a life which we cannot have without morality. But that doesn't mean that we have equal moral responsibility towards fellow human beings from the fact that we are all human beings. We are mutually obliged to respect one another because we are all equal in spite of divergent difference among us. We know, we feel, and act similarly. There is no such similarity between a human and a non-human. We live in a community of moral reciprocity, and that is not there with the non-humans. Because of this similarity, we assign equal value to all human life and made these intrinsically worthy. ମାନେ ଆମେ କାହିଁକି ଆମ ନିଜକୁ ବହୁତ ବଡ଼େଇ କରୁ ବା ଟେକି ହଉ କାହିଁକି ନା ଆମେ ଆମ ଆମ ଭିତରେ ଆମର ମ୍ୟୁଚୁଆଲ ମାନେ ବୁଝାସୁଝା ହେଇକିରି ଆମେ ଆମେ ପରସ୍ପରକୁ ଇମ୍ପୋର୍ଟାଣ୍ଟ ବୋଲି ଭାବୁଛେ ଆଉ ଜୀବ ଯେଉଁମାନେ ଅଛନ୍ତି ସେ ଜୀବମାନଙ୍କୁ ଆମେ ସେଇଭଳି ଭାବୁନେ ତେଣୁ ଆମେ ତାଙ୍କୁ ତାଙ୍କର ଏତେ ମୂଲ୍ୟ ଦଉନା value assignment is a human activity. What constitutes value and what does not depends ultimately a human preference on human preferences. We prefer human life, hence made it intrinsic, and the other we sustain it as instrumental. If we assign intrinsic worth to nature in general and individual members in particular, the is that we cannot cut a single tree, nor we can kill a mosquito. We cannot eat meat, nor can we drink boiled water. ସବୁ ଯାକୁ ଇନ୍ଷ୍ଟିଙ୍ଗ କରିଦେଲେ ଆମେ କୌଣସି ଜିନିଷକୁ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିପାରିବା ନାହିଁ. A theory that makes everything intrinsic comes out in the last analysis an impractical theory. It sounds very noble, but utterly useless. Nor is a theory desirable that makes nature instrumental, such as theories that are anthropocentric perspective generate. The distinction between intrinsic worth and instrumental is not of much help here. ମାନେ ଏଠି କହିବା କଥା ଯେ ଯଦି ବି ଆମେ ଗୋଟେ ଥିଓରି ତିଆରି କରୁଛେ ଏଇ ଅନୁସାରେ ଆମେ ନିୟମ କରିବା ଆଉ ସେ ନିୟମ ଅନୁସାରେ ଆମେ ଚଳିବା ତାହେଲେ କିନ୍ତୁ ଦେଖିଲା ବେଳକୁ ପ୍ରକୃତରେ ଆମେ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟରେ ତାକୁ ବ୍ୟବହାର କରିବାନି ତାହେଲେ ସେ ଥିଓରିର ମୂଲ୍ୟ କ'ଣ? ଗୋଟେ ନୈତିକ ଶାସ୍ତ୍ର ଆମେ ଯଦି ଦବା ସେ ନୀତି ଶାସ୍ତ୍ରରେ ଆମେ ସେ ନୀତି ଶାସ୍ତ୍ରକୁ କାର୍ଯ୍ୟରେ ପରିଣତ କରିପାରିବାନି ତାହେଲେ ସେ ନୀତି ଶାସ୍ତ୍ର ମୂଲ୍ୟ କ'ଣ? ଏଇଟା ହେଉଛି କଥା. Our concern for nature stems from our concern for ourselves. ଆମେ କାହିଁକି ପ୍ରକୃତି ପ୍ରେମୀ ହଉଛୁ? କାହିଁକି ନା ଆମକୁ ଭଲ ଲାଗୁଛି ସେଥିପାଇଁ ଆମେ ପ୍ରକୃତି ପ୍ରେମୀ ହଉଛୁ. The worries for extinction of species, love for wilderness, depletion of ozone layer are all human concerns. We would not care much about what happens around us if that did not affect us some way or other. We would not care for morality if it does not pay us ultimately. Why we want to be moral? Ultimate analysis है जे moral हेले हमरो लाभ होउछ. Universalizability of morality माने खाली मो पई ठीक होनी समस्त पई सेटा ठीक हबार अछि. नियम एमति करा दियो जे खाली मो पई प्रयोजन नहीं समस्त पई प्रयोजन. This is a notion of universalizability of morality. That moral कहला माने सेटा समस्त पई हबा उचित. आ मो पई गोटे कथा अन्य मान कहला बेलू से व्यवहार कराबनी ताले सेटा मोराल प्रिंसिपल बोले कि धरा जीव तेणु मोराल कथा कहया माने एटा यूनिवर्सलाइजेबल हबार अछि समस्त पे हबार अछि एटा कांट को मध्ये कहथिले एटा यूनिवर्सलाइजेबिलिटी ऑफ मोरालिटी आल्सो डिमांड्स दैट आई गो बियॉन्ड myself to us and others. This moral concern requires that we do something morally appropriate for ourselves and for others. This requires curtailment of human interests that have generated devastation and exploitation. अच्छा आउरी बहुत कथा अछि सब गुडा कहली तो सरीब नै मु आउ किछे कमेंट देछि व्हाट शुड बी द गोल ऑफ लाइफ व्हाट शुड बी द गोल ऑफ नेशनल एंड इंटरनेशनल ऑर्गेनाइजेशन it is definitely not the western model which encourages predatory nature of self aggrandizement the west having exploited a huge chunk of non-renewable nature, is talking of sustainable development without any intention of stopping their selfish, safety-oriented practices. एक कथाटा ମୁଁ କାହିଁକି କହୁଛି ଯେ ଯେ ଆମେ ପଶ୍ଚିମର ବୁଦ୍ଧି ଆଣିକିରି କାମ କଲେ ହବ ନାହିଁ ଏବେ ପଶ୍ଚିମର ଚିନ୍ତାନାୟକ ମାନେ ବି ଏ କଥାଟା କହିଛନ୍ତି ପିଟର ସିଙ୍ଗର ୱାନ୍ ୱାର୍ଲଡ ବହିରେ କହିଛନ୍ତି ଯେ ଏ ଯୋଉ କନଜ୍ୟୁମରିଜିମ ଆଟିଚ୍ୟୁଡ ଟା ଆମର ସୃଷ୍ଟି ହେଇଛି ସେଇଟା ଆମକୁ ତଳକୁ ନେଇକି ଛାଡ଼ିବ ଆମର ଏପଟେ ଗାନ୍ଧୀଙ୍କ କଥା ଆମେ ବିଚାର କଲେ ସେ କହୁଛନ୍ତି ଯେ there is enough for our need but not enough for our greed ଆମେ ଆମର ଆବଶ୍ୟକତା ମେଣ୍ଟେଇ ପାରିବା ପ୍ରକୃତି ଦ୍ୱାରା କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମେ ଯଦି ଲୋଭ କରିବା ତାହେଲେ ପ୍ରକୃତି ମଧ୍ୟ ଆମ ପାଇଁ ନିୟଣ୍ଟ ରହିବ developing countries, India in particular, should look inward and bank upon her own spiritual resources and set individual and national goals accordingly. एटी जो आम कहे क्लासिकल इंडियन फिलोसफी इकोसफी कथा जो आम सेमिनार वेबिनार विषय वस्तु तो आमर भारतीय चिंताधारा कौन रही यही जो कथा कहती उपनिषद जो ईशावास्य उपनिषद कथा कहती आम जिते सब आम सरज कह बुद्धिज्म रे केमती अच्छी सब हाउ वी शुड लिव इन आवर लाइफ जो डिपेंडेंट ओरिजिनेशन रे केमती आम समस्त सहित संस्कृत जड़ित ही रही खाली आम कथा आम भाविले हम नहीं वी हैव ए कंडीशन एक्जिस्टेंस से आमर मोराल रेस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी से कथाटा से कह सर निज तो सही जो आम भारतीय अर्थनैतिक आंखी अच्छी ताकू नहीं आम आम समस्या को दूर करने को चेष्टा कले भल हम The problems India faces are not the problems the developed countries face. We have the problem of not living properly. They have the problem of living their lives. Their solution cannot be our solution. Their method cannot be our method. As an afterthought, we may ask, have they lived properly? If they did live, then there should not be so much turmoil in this world. Why so many wars with other nations of humans and other systems of other species? I am not talking about spiritual enlightenment in the religious sense in which materialism is dispensed with. Generally, our classical Indian philosophy, our Vedanta चिंताधारा कहुए यहाँ हूँ सब माया कि प्रकृत अद्वैत वेदांत माया कहले वर्ल्ड इल्यूजन बोली कहूनी से कहूँ फंडामेंटली वर्ल्ड इज नॉट फंडामेंटली रियलिटी इज नॉट मैटर बट स्पिरिचुअल दैट इज व्हाट एक्चुअली अद्वैत वेदांत कहे तो खाली आम केवल भगवान स्पिरिचुअल एनलाइटमेंट करवा आउ किसी करवानी मेटेरियलिज्म कथा करवानी आमर स्वास्थ्य कथा बुझा नहीं आम शिक्षा कथा बुझा नहीं आम शरीर कथा बुझा नहीं या कि यार सेटा कि फॉल आउट ना माने से भलिया चिंताधारा कथा मु कहू नहीं आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट स्पिरिचुअलाइजेशन ऑफ मैटर बाय दिस आई मीन that we must have philosophy of life which emphasizes the worth of life of all kinds. Where there is a conflict of human life and the lives of others, every reasonable precaution, mark the word, every reasonable precaution, we cannot absolutely be safe to others. So we will take every reasonable precaution depending on the knowledge available at the age is made to avoid the conflict. माने शुणी जे कृष्ण जो गुरु संदीपनी बोधे गुरु संदीपनी पाखे शिक्षा पाते जो गुरु माँ कही तमें कृष्ण जाओ किसी काठ आश्रम नहीं आसो आमर होम यज्ञ खाद्य प्रस्तुति ପାଇଁ ଦରକାର ହବ तो से क्षेत्र जाइए कौन करते सी गचर सुखिला काठ को भांगिक आनी कंचा काठ के भांगिक आना तो यहाँ हूँ रिजनेबल प्रोटेक्शन आम गछ को मारिबा नहीं गछ जोटा छाड़ी देती ही आम आनिक आम व्यवहार करवा आजिकल से होनी जमी आम माने आम जमी गोटे आम शुणीचे जो गपटा जो गोटे कुकुड़ा थिला आम पिलादिने आम शुणु आजिकार पिला से गप शुणी कि नहीं कहीं मुझे जानी जे गोटे कुकुड़ा थिला जोटा सुना अंडा दौला तो से आउ गोटे लोक शुणी शुणी कहला अरे तू गोटे गोटे दिन कहीं सप्ताह गोटे सुना अंडा कहीं नौ कुकुड़ाटा को मारिले जहाँ सब अंडा अच्छे सब जगह तू नहीं एकाथरे पाइबू बहुत बड़ धनी लोक भाया आमर प्रकृति प्रति बर्तमान विचार चली जे वी आर एक्सप्लोइटिंग बियॉन्ड आवर नीड से समस्याटा अनफॉर्चुनेटली कन्फ्लिक्टिंग ऑफ लाइफ इज एन इनविटेबल एस्पेक्ट ऑफ लाइफ हमें बंचुचे माने पादे चलिकी गले आम कीट पत्र नष्ट हो जाते झाड़ू मारदेला बेलू केते जीव घास अच्छी घास काटिदेला बेलू खोलीदेला बेलू जिया दिखंड हो जाऊँगी केते पोक नष्ट हो तो आम धुआं देले मशा मरी जाऊँ आम मेडिसिन खाइले बैक्टेरिया माने मरी जाऊँ भाइरस माने मरी जाऊँ तो कौन करवा कन्फ्लिक्ट होती तो भाइरस जीवन मूल्यवान ना आम जीवन मूल्यवान दिजन देखले विश्व दरबार दीटा जीवन मूल्यवान तो से कन्फ्लिक्ट हेल्ले केमती हम कन्फ्लिक्ट तो हम ही हम दिस इज एन ongoing feature of our natural world but at the same time there is a significant difference between conflict when one thinks master of the world and one does not तमे भावियो जे मु विश्व विधाता को भलिया जे मु मनीष हिसाब रे मु संसार को जेंति अरिस्टोटल कहतले जे the plants are there for animals and animals are there for men और से कथाटा को जस्टिफाई करते थॉमस एक्विनास क्रिश्चियन थिंकर से भलिया नुहे the one who believes that I am just one among the many and thinks that he is a moral agent whose actions may cost the other's life, who is incapable of defending it, will go through considerable moral, legal, spiritual deliberation. May act in a way that shows that she has tried her best to save the life of the other. This is possible only if she loves the world. यही कॉन्टेक्स्ट यही परिप्रेक्षी गोटे उदाहरण देवी मोर माने व्यक्तिगत जीवन में गोटे घटना घटला आम मुझे इस्पात कॉलेज में अध्यापना करते मो सांगे मोर गोटे बंधु माने सी भी मो सांगे क्लास मोर क्लासमेट पॉलिटिकल साइंस ना दुखर सहित कहूँ चली रही सी टी मांस प्रिय तो दिने से घर स्कूटर बाहर गला बेलू कॉलेज को बाटे से जो मुन्ना मिया आमको दिए सप्ताह जाके आणु मांस सी तो प्राय सबुदिन खाए बोझे कौन डाकिला सार भल मांस अच्छी नौना भल खासी अच्छी तो जड़े के लोक थिला से देखला जहाँ भल खासीटा दे काटिदेला सी कौन कला सब से छोटिया खासीटा को लेकिन फ्रिज भर रखिकी सबुदिन खाइला माने सका खाइला सन्ध्या खाइला जो जहाँ तार इच्छा काटिक खाइला तो यहीटा हूँ अनरिजनेबल वे ऑफ डीलिंग विथ लाइफ अनरिजनेबल डीलिंग वे ऑफ लाइफ माने जदि सबू लोक से भाया चिंता करेंगे केते छेली कटा है जी छेली कटा होते अधिक कटा आई थिंक love the world should be the goal of life and the policy of nations and international organizations and institutions. The moral agent who loves the world will go out of her way to save the moral object, for the object does not reciprocate but only receives. Feminist thinkers might object that this agent-object dualism is the reminiscent of androcentrism. Just the feminism कथा राजकिशोर कहले डुअलिज्म एनीथिंग डुअलिस्टिक एंड फेमिनिस्ट वाले ऑब्जेक्शन करते हैं क्या डुअलिज्म वाले पावर इक्वेशन एपट सेपट हो जी मास्टर हम सी स्लेव को तार इंटरेस्ट अनुसार डिक्टेट कर एंडोसेट्रिज्म लक्षण जो कि मनुष्य कहे जे मु पावरफुल मु रैशनल तो माय इंटरेस्ट शुड काउंट फर्स्ट एंड टेक द प्रायोरिटी मुझे कथा कहूँ that kind of dualism I'm not talking about. I do not think this kind of dualism has the defect. माने मुझे defect dualism कथा कहूँ agent object dualism कथा dualism is inevitable for it is the reality of our existence. मु ଆଉ ଅନ୍ୟ ମାନେ ଏ dualism ତ ଅଛି ସେଠି except जे ମାନେ ଅଦ୍ୱୈତ ବେଦାନ୍ତରେ ଯେ ଆମେ ସମସ୍ତେ ବ୍ରହ୍ମର divine element ଠିକ ତା ସତ୍ୟ ବି dualism ରହୁଛି ସେ ଅବଶ୍ୟ निराकार ब्रह्म कथा कहते ओनली देयर इज ब्रह्म कथा कहते नॉन डुअलिस्टिक चिंता करा होती किंतु गोटे स्तर रे रहउची जे आई एंड ब्रह्म so dualism is there if the thing if the sting of power is subdued by love there should not be any problem with this kind of dichotomy seriously with regard to specific philosophy of life I am inclined to support Gandhi's philosophy of life. And मु जो कहूली पीटर सिंगर वन वर्ल्ड बईटा पिला माने जो माने सुनुचन एठी तमे टिके मन दैकरी प्रैक्टिकल एक्सिस पीटर सिंगर पढ़ तापर वन वर्ल्ड बईटा पढ़ दीटा को बही लाइब्रेरी रे सब कॉलेज रो लाइब्रेरी अछि मते लागु नदी नथिबो आनिया दरकार मधुस्मिता को मो अनुरोध करछि से प्रैक्टिकल एथिक्स आउ वन वर्ल्ड भी तार सॉफ्ट कॉपी भी मुझे मिलती राजकिशोर कहले से मुझे तो प्रोवाइड कर दी पारे हाँ तो से दीटा बही बहुत मंजी कथा कहूँ माने एथिकल इश्यू को लेकरी जो फिलोसॉफिकल डिबेट होउची माने पीटर सिंगर जो प्रैक्टिकल एथिक्स रे तमर इक्वालिटी कथा अछि पॉवर्टी कथा अछि राइट टू एनिमल्स कथा अछि सब जिंस गुडा अछि तांकर एते पावरफुल थिंकिंग थे अमेरिका रे यूरोप रे तांकु मना करा हितला तांकु पुरे दु नथले ए जो गोरु व्यवसाय करथले मांस व्यवसाय करथले फार्म माने कहते तम फिलोसफी को जदि आमे समस्त सुनिबे ताले हमर दुकान बंद हो जिवो सेही बहिडा को पिले तमे पढ तमरो विचार बहुत उन्नत है ओके कम बैक टू व्हाट आई एम टॉकिंग with regard to a specific philosophy of I am inclined to support Gandhi's philosophy of life. I am not suggesting that everyone should live like Gandhi, a life of austerity and frugality. It is said that to keep Gandhi poor, thousands of rupees were spent in his time. I reject both the senses. What I am suggesting is simple life in the sense that everyone gets an opportunity to use her hands and mind with small technology, decentralized system of production and power and such other things that would help one live in nature, not live against nature. कहीं की स्मॉल टेक्नोलॉजी डिसेंट्रलाइज सिस्टम ऑफ प्रोडक्शन कहीं की पावर कहीं की डिसेंट्रलाइजेशन कहीं की पॉलिटिकल साइंस पढ़ुवा पिला माने जानिथिबे लॉर्ड एक्टन कहिथिले पावर करप्ट एब्सोल्यूट पावर करप्ट एब्सोल्युटली एटा हमें +2 साइंस रे सॉरी हमें उसको तो आया थिला हमें पॉलिटिकल साइंस रे पॉलिटिकल थ्योरी पढ़ला बेले एइटा मो सुनिथिले एबे भी मोर मन रही जिंसला बहुत मूल्यवान कथा से कहते The offshoot of the above discussion is that moral agency is to be restricted to human, while the sphere of morality goes beyond the dichotomy of existing and existing values. With regard to environment, the proper moral attitude should direct us to live in nature, not out of it. ऐसे ही मु आज कहवाकू चाहूली आपण मैंने धैर्य सहित कथाटा शुणिले से आपण मन बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद मोर एटी सरिला मधुस्मिता तुम आगो को बढ़ा हेलो कथा मोर सरिला मधुस्मिता
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you for your presentation, sir. So very beautifully you presented, and you spoke in Odia. So I think our student might have understood whatever. Really honored to have you this honor. There is no any questions in our chat box. So the students or participants they mentions after the after Saros's rendition. So thank you, sir. Now I would like to invite Dr. Saras Kankar to present his paper. Please, sir, join, sir. Sir, Saras, sir, am I audible to you, sir?
Yeah, I am joining.
Yes, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. You are most welcome, sir. Yes, sir.
I am thankful to the Pattamundai College, the principal, Madhusmita, and the organization committee. I am thankful to my co-presentators, Ram sir and Rajkishore Nath. This is the time 1:40. So, ଯେତେବେଳେ ଭୋକ କରେ ସେତେବେଳେ ଦର୍ଶନ ଶାସ୍ତ୍ର କିଛି ସମୟ ପାଇଁ ବନ୍ଦ ହେବା ଦରକାର, କିନ୍ତୁ ଆମେ ଭୋକ ବେଳେ ହିଁ ଦର୍ଶନ ଶାସ୍ତ୍ରକୁ ବର୍ତ୍ତମାନ ପଢୁଛେ।
ସରଜ ବ୍ୟସ୍ତ ହୁଅନି, ସମସ୍ତେ ଘରେ ଅଛନ୍ତି, କିଛି କିଛି ଖାଇ ଦେଇଥିବା ଆ ଭିତରେ।
ମୁଁ ସେୟା କହିବାକୁ ଯାଉଛି ଜଷ୍ଟ। ସମସ୍ତଙ୍କୁ ଅନୁରୋଧ, ସମସ୍ତେ ତ ବହୁତ ପାର୍ଟିସିପାଣ୍ଟ ଆମର ଅଛନ୍ତି ଯୋଉମାନେ ମ୍ୟୁଟ କରି ରଖିଛନ୍ତି, ଭିଡିଓ ଅଫ୍ କରି ରଖିଛନ୍ତି। ସେମାନଙ୍କୁ ଅନୁରୋଧ, ଆପଣମାନେ ଭୋକରେ ଶୁଣନ୍ତୁ ନାହିଁ, ଆନନ୍ଦରେ ଶୁଣନ୍ତୁ, ଆଉ ଖିଆପିଆ କରନ୍ତୁ, ଭିଡିଓ ଅଫ୍ ରଖିକିରି ଶୁଣିପାରିବେ ଏବଂ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ସାଙ୍ଗେ ଖାଇପାରିବେ ମଧ୍ୟ। ମତେ ଅଭିଶାପ ଦିଅନ୍ତୁନି, ତେଣୁ ଖିଆପିଆ କରନ୍ତୁ, ଆରାମରେ ଶୁଣନ୍ତୁ ଏବଂ ଏହାପରେ ପାର୍ଟିସିପେସନ ବି କରନ୍ତୁ। ମହାଜନ ଯେ ଗତ ସପନ୍ଥା, ରାମ ସାର୍ ମୋ ପାଇଁ ପନ୍ଥା ତିଆରି କରିଦେଇଛନ୍ତି ମୁଁ ଓଡ଼ିଆ ଆଉ ଇଂଲିଶରେ ମିଶେଇକିରି କହିବା ପାଇଁ, ତେଣୁ ମୋର ଆଉ ଡର ନାହିଁ। More topic na hochi ecosophy of Buddhist and Vedic moral traditions. Basically, it is on Buddhist philosophy and Buddhist way of looking at the ecological problems, issues, and then a little comparison between the Buddhist and the Buddhist moral tradition and Vedic moral tradition. I could not see from my end. Is my screen visible to all or readable? Madhusmita?
हाँ हाँ देखाउछि तो screen देखाउछि।
Buddhism and Vedic system, how they emphasize the ecological basis are known to all, almost all things. I have only one privilege here to remind the same, to emphasize on some points in a specific order. I have taken the Buddhism in its early phase, where it has no metaphysics, but has strong moral tradition that brings out its ecosophy. I have taken a little bit of Mahayana tradition, which contribute to the eco-philosophy. Actually, philosophy or darsana are something different. Philosophy is a love of wisdom, basically an intellectual tradition, argumentative tradition, and living by that is wisdom, as we understood from Socrates, Aristotle, and many others. Darsana ସେଇଭଳି ଏକ ଶାସ୍ତ୍ର, and ଦର୍ଶନକୁ ଇଂରାଜୀରେ ଅନୁବାଦ କଲେ ହେବ vision. So we have a vision, and if we have vision, then we have to live by that vision. So it is totally practical. In order to get the vision, in order to get the vision, we have to live in a particular way. And when we have the vision, we become knowledgeous. आमको ज्ञान हो गला जे यह होची सत्य, यह होची परम उपलब्धि, तेबे आमे सही सत्य भीतर ही बंची परिबा। जदि आमे सही सत्य को छाड़ी दबा ताला हम उपलब्धिर किछि माने ही नाही। तेणु यह संपूर्ण भार प्रैक्टिकल, वेस्टर्न फिलोसफी, इंडियन फिलोसफी प्रैक्टिकल। Ecosophy or eco-philosophy is not a separate development. It is an integrated development of the holistic vision, darsana. The name was not given, the name is Western now, and emphasis is Western because of the crisis, ecological crisis, the emphasis was given, study have been made. But basically, it is the same thing in India, in Buddhism, Jainism, and in Vedic system. There are other systems like Pasupatana Kulisa, Saiva system, Raseswara Darsana, Samasta Darsana Shastra, eco-philosophy or understanding of nature and living by the nature is the most important thing. So in contrast, Vedanta, or I may make a little difference, Vedic tradition, Vedic tradition has multifarious metaphysics, and almost all of them suggest different moral scheme as well as ecosophy. My objective here is to reflect over and contrast the metaphysical basis of their moral systems and how the moral system supports or leads to some kind of ecosophy. We all know the metaphysical basis of Buddhist morals and ecosophy. One is the Pratitya Samutpada. We know about the Pratitya Samutpada, dependent origination. Buddhism explains most of the things in universe through Pratitya Samutpada. It is translated as interdependent origination. And a relativity. Relativity is taken in the context of meaning and existential things and beings. Interdependence and relativity are taken as general principles of phenomenal worlds. How it is in the next slide, I shall elaborate a little bit. And then the metaphysics of karma and rebirth. Here in this slide, I am telling only the metaphysics. You know, in India, morals are not neutral. Even epistemology is neutral, not neutral. All are embedded with some kind of metaphysics. And metaphysics is the speculative or realized matter of truth. So here, in Indian philosophy or classical Indian philosophy, things are not neutral. It is Srushti, Drustivada or Drushti, Srushtivada. Going together, the जो दृष्टि आम देखू से दृष्टि आमको सत्य देखा एवं जो सत्य जमीती सेमिति आमर दृष्टि तैयारी हेबो. This दृष्टि सृष्टिवाद and सृष्टि दृष्टिवाद revolves around each other. It is just like the in the Chinese Buddhist Chinese philosophy, Confucianism, that's the light and darkness going around each other. That is why to look at the metaphysical basis, the ontological basis of the ontological matters of thinking is most important. From the ontology, morals will be derived, and from morals, the ecosophy will be supported. So that is why looking at the ontology or the metaphysics, and after that metaphysics, we shall see the morals, and then from morals, we will go to the ecosophy at the same time. So Pratitya Samutpada is one of the metaphysical thinking, speculation, not we can say speculation in metaphysical truths in Buddhism. And karma and rebirth is another that we know. That is why I am not saying so many things. Pratitya Samutpada is associated with karma and rebirth. Buddhism underlines the notion of karma and rebirth as indispensable metaphysical assumptions. Karma generates karmic stops, which act as upadana karana of the personality leading to its rebirth. How the karmic stops leads to upadana karana. Upadana karana means suppose gote maठिया माटी रे तयारी हेची माटी होची तार उपादान कारण अलंकार जदि सुना रे तयारी हेची सुना होची तार उपादान कारण सेमती आमे जेमिति कर्म करूचे से कर्मर गोटे इंप्रेशन गोटे छाप गोटे इफेक्ट गोटे मंजी आम भीतर रही जाए एवं सेही कर्मर मंजी नेक्स्ट मोमेंट रे आ गोटे प्रकार कर्म को जन्म दिए एमती एमती गोटे प्रकार कर्म तैयारी हुए एवं तार छाप आम भीतर रुहे तार मंजी रही जाए से पुणी आउ गोटे कर्म को जन्म दिए अवस्था एवं परिस्थिति रे से कर्म अलग अलग प्रकार हुए सेमती से अलग अलग प्रकार मंजी भी आम भीतर दब से प्रकार कर्म वेदना संज्ञा संस्कार विज्ञान एमती पंचस्कंध देकर कर्म ही आमको आगु आगु नौची एवं आम जतबेले देखिबा आम भीतर केवल किसी कर्म किसी वेदना किसी संस्कार ये सब भीतर ही अछि एवं कर्म द्वारा ही ता बढ़ी थाए सेति कर्म कर्म होची मूल तत्व यही कर्म रिबार्थ को जन्म दी थाए यदि कर्म रहिबनी कर्मिक इफेक्ट रहिबनी ताले रिबार्थ भी हबनी निर्वाण एका साथ हेबा किंतु कर्म रुहे कर्म इफेक्ट रुहे तेणु रिबार्थ पे आउ थरे पुणी आमे मंजी बणी थाउ पतित समुत्पाद कर्म एंड रिबार्थ these are the things, these are the metaphysical assumptions, metaphysical truths in the Theravada, in the Hinayana Buddhism. But Mahayana Buddhism developed another metaphysical thing, that Trikaya. Trikaya means Dhammakaya, Sambhavakaya and Nirmanakaya of Buddha. The assumption that all beings are potential Buddha, all beings have, I am using it like a blackboard, all beings have potential Buddhatva, because the same Buddha nature is there in all. After Aswabhasa, there are some scriptures called Dasabhumika Shastra, and it is described there that Buddha has taken birth, Buddha has been dead, but after death, after his nirvana, where he has gone, it is a different type of a notion, different from the Theravada Buddhism, that the essential nature of all is the same. That is why everybody everybody is potentially a Buddha, and they can activate that nature and they can get Buddhatva. So this notion is said by the Pratyeka Buddha Janist. We have all the Buddha nature. We can all be Buddha if we follow the Buddha's path or a similar path. So we have the Dhammakaya, the essence. It is just like a notion of Atman or Brahman everywhere in everything, and we have to activate it. Then from the metaphysics we come to morals in Buddhism. The Pratitya Samutpada, along with karma and rebirth, suggests a type of morality in Buddhism. What type of morality in Buddhism? This is most important. The morality that the way we will act, it is that depending upon our action and actions towards others, our thought towards others, speech towards others, our own future is destined. So if that is the case, then we have to control our actions in speech, in thought, and also in our actions, actual action, physical action. We have to control ourselves towards the other, and this is therein consists the moral precepts of the Panchasila, that is ahimsa, asteya, aparigraha, and others. There also consists the Arya Ashtanga Marga. So There are so many other things in Buddha Sangani, in Dhamma Sangani by the Buddha Ghosa. There are so many moral precepts, and Rice Davids mentioned that all the moral precepts are psychological moral precepts. It is just to make a mind free from all the stains, all the sins. So psychological morals are whether it is psychological morals or it is personal morals, but it has the impetus towards the social moral field. If we are good, then we are affecting others. This is the interdependence. If we become thief, then we are also affecting others. So anyway, if we, in individual level, in personal level, we become good, then the society will be good, because all people will become good, and anybody's good will affect others in a good way. That is why the personal psychological morality leads to the social morality. And this is the notion of Pratitta Samutpada. Interdependentness or Pratitta Samutpada or relativity is such an universal principle. It operates in every field, in psychology, in physiology, in our karma and rebirth theory, and also in the social moral spectrum. The second moral is the ahimsa, and ahimsa is one of the important morals with social, spiritual, and all types of values. We say that ahimsa is ahimsa a virtue? Is ahimsa a social moral? Can we practice moral ahimsa to the 100%? How much, where, how to practice the ahimsa? This is the biggest question, and we have to take care of this. Whether in Mahabharata Krishna becomes ahimsa, or he adopted hinsa, where the borderline of between ahimsa and hinsa, morality and immorality, disappears, and where it becomes bold. We have to look at that aspect, and that depends upon the person's judgment, in which situation what is to be taken. Ramsar has taken that question, that aspect, that is if every individual life is intrinsically valuable and therefore should be honored, then is it moral to kill the coronavirus? The point is here, whether coronavirus should be preserved and human beings are let to die, or coronavirus should be killed. Not only coronavirus, there are so many viruses, microorganisms that affect us in a good or bad way. Okay, the good way they affect to us, we say that it is good. We should preserve them. We should enhance them. We eat cod because there are good bacteria are there. They will help us. There are gut bacteria in all of us, and we preserve them. We do not kill them. Antibiotics we are not taking, controlling, because by antibiotics the good bacteria in our good bacteria and good germs in our body will be killed. Then coronavirus. Regarding the coronavirus, whether ahimsa should be made or not, it depends upon the extent. Who is most valuable? Who is more valuable? Suppose coronavirus could not make us any harm. We could have ecological balance. Coronavirus could live and we can live. Then we do not need to think of killing the coronavirus. Because the coronavirus is killing us, affecting us, making hinsa to us, then we have to make some containment of hinsa towards them, because to make the balance. Coronavirus is making predatory action on us. Predatory action means killing others for survival. Coronavirus does not have any motive to survive, but it is killing us when spreading. So that is why we have to take the measure to kill that for our existence. The motive of the universe is different. We may say that the universe has the motive. Whether it has motive or not, if it has motive, then it may make the historical cycling that at 100 years, just like before 100 years of the coronavirus, there was one kind of pandemic. And after this, and before that 100 years also there was a pandemic, and now also there is pandemic, and in future also in after 100 years it may happen. If we take up these cyclic things of the nature, and we may think that nature is also an organism, a bigger organism, and it is making the balance, bringing the pandemic and other situations to control the humanity, or the make the balance in the nature in some way or other. That we may see, we will see in the Vedanta part. But here is we have to practice ahimsa for a greater purpose if we see the greater purpose. And in the Buddhism, I will show in another next slide that how, in what extent it can be. And Maitri or Metta is another point of view. It is an insider bhavana. There is a Chatur Brahma Vihara. Charita Brahma Vihara Gana Huye Buddhism re. Maitri, Karuna, Mudita, and Upeksha. Maitri or friendliness. It is called loving kindness or friendliness. Maitri in Pali it is Metta. So Maitri we know Mitrata. आम समस्त समस्त सहित मित्रता रक्षा करिया पड़िबो कारण आम समस्त समस्त सहित जड़ित समस्त समस्त सहित समस्त ऊपर प्रभावित एवं अपेक्षित सेति पई जेहेतु आम समस्त रिलेटेड for that reason we have to keep we have to care others, we have to preserve others at the extent that the other can be preserved and we should not be in harmful stage. We can make a tiger safari at some distance and we may keep there, let them live happily, but we should also live happily. There should be a contentment zone, and we should not disturb others, they should not disturb us. If that is, then for this contentment zone to make a self-control, to make the partitions between us and others, to take care of others, we practice Maitri. And the Maitri is the important thing, important practice for the eco-philosophy. Here the river is worshipped. The nature is worshipped. I asked one sannyasi who lived in jungle for many days. I asked, without friends, without your relatives, how do you live in jungle for many years? He told me that if you think that they are also your friends, the trees and other aspects are your friends, you will get support from them. They will not be harmful. But you have to take it holistically and truly. If you take just in surface value, it will not help. You have to take in meditation, in your heart, in your soul. Then you will see that this nature will help you. Actually, the Maitri will come. The friendliness will come from the nature. Even the human being cannot support that. Anytime you will find, you will search for food, food will be available in some way or other. So as for the Pratitya Samutpada, all the living beings and non-living aspects, animate and inanimate, are related, dependent on each other. Therefore, each will conserve the other. Non-violence adds to it in better conservation of the ecosystem. Instead of predatory attitude, one can become altruistic in all activities and approaches that can fulfill the ecological demand. Altruism is not mechanical or utilitarian, but it should go with natural friendliness or Maitri. So these three things, Pratitya Samutpada, Ahimsa, Maitri, it leads to a kind of ecosystem, and it's with a natural feeling. And feeling means expressing in action. Then from Buddhist metaphysics and morals, it goes exactly to ecosophy in Buddhism. So Pratitya Samutpada says mutual relationship that we know. And there is another description, there is jewel net of Indra. In a scripture, it is said that all these aspects of nature are comprised, are kept in such a way that as if there is a net means माछ धरिया पे आमे जो नेट यूज करू, जो जाला यूज करू, से जालार सूता सब प्रति जगह गंठी गंठी पड़ी थाए एवं प्रत्येक गंठी प्रत्येक सूता प्रत्येक गंठी रिलेटेड. जदि गोटाए जगह से गंठी फिटी जीव बा छिंडी जीव ताले से धीरे 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 अन्य आड़ को सब अफेक्ट करिवो सेमती नेचर रे आमे समस्त गोटाए जालर गंठी भली समस्ते गोटे गोटे गंठी आमे आ सब जाल पूरा बुणा ही रही जदि गोटाए जगह गोटाए गंठी को उठी फिटी गला जदि गोटाए जगह किसी घटिला ता समस्त नेचर धीरे धीरे इम्पैक्ट पकेब हाँ ता पूर्व नेचर निजे निजे बुणिया को चेष्टा करे पुणी थे प्रिजर्व करने चेष्टा करे जदि नेचर प्रिजर्व करदेला ताल भल जमी ओजोन ओजोन होल एवं किसी परिमाण में कमी आसी पैंडेमिक जो जो गाड़ी फाड़ी न चलला धुआं फुआ ना से किसी परिमाण में नेचर प्रिजर्व कर चलला यदि नेचर प्रिजर्व कर चलो then there is no problem but sometimes if it is beyond the hand of nature beyond the capacity of nature to preserve again ताले ए जो जाल बुणा हिचे जाल भितर आमे सब गंठी अच्छे गोटे गोटे गंठी आमे समस्ते नष्ट होगा जीवा प्रथम नेचर नष्ट हबो तापर रिसोर्स नष्ट हबो तापर सब आमे सब भी नष्ट हबा गोटे जिनिस नष्ट हले सब किछि नष्ट हबो खाली गोटे जिनिस ऊपर जदि रक्षा करा जीव बहुत जिनिस रक्षा करा जाई परिबो तेणु समस्त जिनिस जदि रक्षा करा जीव ताले समस्त भले रहिबे सो ज्वेल नेट ऑफ इंद्र इज से दैट इंद्र हैज net where in every knot there is a jewel and we are all jewels actually all animals all sentient beings all non-sentient things all things are jewels they are value jewels it is said jewel because they are valuable they have intrinsic value if you do not know if somebody जदि कोठी हीरा अछि ताल ताकु जदि जहुरी थियो से ताल विचार करि परिबो जे हीरा कोन को प्रकार हीरा आर वैल्यू केते जदि जहुरी नथियो ताले हीरार मूल्य भी किछि ता पाखरे नाही किंतु हीरार कोन मूल्य कमी गला तार गुण धर्मता भीतर ही अछि सोनार गुण धर्मता भीतर ही अछि से खणी भीतर थाउ नले कानरे पिंदा हिता सेमिति आमे सब ज्वेल हां ए जो नेचर सब एस्पेक्ट होची गोटे गोटे मणि से मणि रा मूल्य हमक बुझिबा पड़िबो एवं से मणि को रक्षा करिया पड़िबो गोटे मणि जदि नष्ट हला त अनेक मणि नष्ट होवार संभावना धीरे धीरे बढ़िबो ज्वेल नेट ऑफ इंद्र ए कथा को प्रतित्व समुत्पाद को एक्सप्लेन करिबा जाई then from this we understand that there is a holistic interrelatedness every living being and every minute thing is significant since even the tiniest thing contains the whole mystery so this expresses a kind of cosmic ecology the whole cosmos has prepared in such a that every aspect is related to feeding to another aspect so each aspect should be developed to such an extent that it can be supported by the others and that balance should be kept that is the cosmic ecology so whole cosmos it is not only in the earth but also outside the earth if the magnetic field the magnetic waves from the sun will come then so many things are destroyed in the earth there will be impact of environmental impact on the earth there are some technology is also getting affected so the thing is before it was not known but nowadays it is understood that things are interrelated we know we may forget many times because of the short-sightedness but if we open our eye we can see that how we are interrelated ecocentrism the western philosophers that name I wrote okay the cosmic ecology is actually the same thing as ecocentrism that is developed by others at the different time then to come to Buddha nature the Buddha nature says that heaven and earth and I are of the same root the 10,000 things and I are of one substance we have the one substance means we are of the Buddha nature since we are Buddha nature we are related to each other and if we help each other then that Buddha nature will be realized properly if you do not help each other then that Buddha nature will not be realized for example if I kill others if I do not facilitate others then what will happen I will be filled with bad sensation bad mind that means I am incurring the sin and my psychology is getting diluted that pure Buddha nature will not come out it will be suppressed more and more and when I am depriving others from the from his study, from his rights, from going above, from growing in their own way, then what will happen? Their Buddha nature is also getting suppressed. They are not facilitated. So if I want to realize my Buddha nature, I have to definitely help others to develop their Buddha nature. This is the sense of the Bodhisattvahood. The Bodhisattva will become Bodhisattva when he realizes that other persons should grow and realize their Buddha nature. If they do it, then they can get the Bodhisattvahood. Otherwise, they will not get. So your own progress, spiritual progress effects, it can be effected only when you will help others for their spiritual progress. Spiritual progress means material progress and also intellectual progress and overall progress. If you progress to others, will make the progress to us. If somebody, there are some Ananda Margis, they help when people are died and in distress due to cyclone or some other phenomenon, then they go and help others. By helping others, they do not think that we should get some merit, but by helping others, without thinking of merit, they actually incur some merit, good things they incur. So if somebody will think that for the merit I should help others, then that merit will not happen. If somebody will help only, that merit may come. Yes. So then how can I harm the system when I am part of the same? This is the important thing. If I am part of this, part of the system, I should not harm the system. If I am in college and I am getting a salary, then I should preserve the college reputation. In the whole world, in the whole cosmos, I am a part, not only in this body, also in another body, in future, past. So how can I harm them? I should conserve it, I should save it. The universe is a Sangha. The Sangha concept Buddha developed for the bhikkhus, but actually he says that it is not, Sangha should not be, when it is said Sangham Saranam Gacchami, it is not limited only the Buddhist. Sangha means whoever takes part in the realization of Buddhahood. The whole cosmos is going towards that, to realize, to flourish. If you take Sri Aurobindo, to flourish and to achieve the supermanhood, the supermindhood. So supermind is the Buddha nature, is the Buddhahood. And for that state, okay, the term is different, there are some nuances also different, but the Buddhahood or the supermind is the similar kind of things. It is the spiritual progress. It is a height at the spiritual progress, and we need to achieve that by helping others, by conserving others, by keeping our friendliness, our support towards others when we get the same thing from others. Ahimsa is important moral things, how it helps in ecosophy. So once Buddha was, I kept one example, once Buddha was going to put his steps in water, but there are waves in the water. Buddha's heart was so sensitive that he could not, he could see the beauty of the wave, the natural formation of the wave, and he did not want to obstruct that by putting his feet. He kept his feet above the water, that wave will pass, and then he will keep the feet. The thing is, the sensitivity towards non-harming others, sensitivity of non-harming others is so strong that even towards the non-sentient Buddha was thinking of the same thing. Let me not to harm them. He kept the rule of Varsa Masa, that in the rainy season, if monks will go here and there, they will go for begging, then they will harm to themselves, and also they will harm other insects, the tender leaves of the small grasses. So that is why he made these rules of Varsa Masa, that nature should not be harmed. This time should be given that nature should conserve and develop itself for the 4 months, and the monks and nuns should control themselves in a confined area, and the nature should be developed. It is given time, the feeding system to the nature that it should conserve, it should repair, it should grow, so that after the Varsa Masa we can go and we can enjoy this thing. He also he make a rule of conservation and balance of consumption. How it is, he made that mostly at that time people are taking some leaves of some trees, mostly the palm tree leaves they used for making their hot or protecting themselves from the sun. And Buddha made that you should not, if the palm tree is very small, then you should not harm that. Take the palm leaf from the bigger palm trees, not from the small palm trees. It is for the reason that you conserve that palm tree, so that palm tree will develop, and when it develops, it becomes bigger than your height, bigger than 6 feet. Then you can take the leaves off of that. It will not harm that tree. But if a small tree is there and there is only 2-3 leaves, if you take the leaves, then that tree will be die. That means you are making you are ending that life of the tree who could supply you so many leaves. So to keep the balance when you are consuming, where to consume, how to consume, it is the reverence towards nature and balance. Another rule he has made. There are so many things in Buddhism making it a deep ecology, but there is no time. I have taken only some of the things which we can share with our students, friends. So rule of sharing. If a Buddhist monk will get some begging, some foods they are begging each day, and if they get some food, and after that they should come towards the outside of the village, somewhere they have to sit and they have to take their food. At that time, if dogs, other animals will be there, they have to share. If there are other monks, not monks, any hungry person is there, they have to share the food with them. Even if one morsel of that food they can take, even they cannot take that also, they have to share. It is the honor that we have to share. So sharing is such a thing that here in Rajgiri there is a place called Ghoda Katora. That Ghoda Katora is a kind of lake kind of things between the hills 4 sides, and there is a place. And in that place, many monks were staying there, making their practices. And this Rajgiri is the place of Buddhist traditions. Buddha remained here for many years. Many people, great disciples are living here, and even Mahavira Jina also practicing here, his tapasya. They have made this some different water. There are hills here, and between the hills there are some water, some ponds, some deep places where water could conserve, and the water could dry away in the dry season. In the rainy season, it will be preserved. It may dry away if there is very less rain in that day, that year. So the rules are here that in the Ghoda Katora and there are other ponds here, that when the summer season will come, when the rain will be less, then a monk should take less water, not to preserve the water, not to waste the water. Even in the Sanchi, I visited Sanchi. There also it is in the stupa is on the hill, and besides the hill there are some water ponds. The water pond is made by some kings and also some naturally farmed, and people have made a bankment about that. So those rules are there, that even the monks are there. If you ask them, they can say the rules of the previous rule is that you should not preserve. You should preserve the water, and as less as water is possible, you should take off. Every monk is required to preserve water in some way or other, to making in the rainy season, and to use the water with the sharing and with the preservance. So the rules, regulations regarding food, regarding honoring the nature, giving the time to nature to flourish, regarding consumption, and regarding the disturbances of others, even the wave are honored. So by that, it was contributing to ecosophy. By karma, the metaphysics of karma and rebirth, one takes birth as other animals, plants, or insects. Then we may think that I do not know in which birth, where, who was my mother, who was my father, teachers, brothers, sisters, and other relatives. I do not know who else will be my relatives, my mothers, fathers in my next future coming birth, then how I should express my gratitude to them? This is the point that Buddha has made many times, and Buddhist Pali scriptures has made, that because of the karma and rebirth, we do not know how many births we have taken and who were they are our relatives, in which respect our relatives in our previous birth. That means we are all related. We are family members. In this birth, somebody becomes a tree. Maybe in the last some births, that tree might be my teacher, my father, or my mother. Maybe some dogs are there, cats are there. They come fondly to us. In Hinduism, it is believed that not only in Hinduism, in the Tibetan Buddhism, it is believed that those animals, cats, dogs, cows, they come to you, they like you. It may be that they might be your, it may be that they were your future relatives, close relatives. That is why they like you. Sometimes the parapsychologists develop research has made that even sometimes some people like snakes, and the snakes comes to them, not to others. The thing is, in the last life, they might be the snakes also. The snake was their relative, father, mother, or something. So the affinity between the people is so strong that it may not be broken even somebody takes plant life or animal life or insect life. Even some insects may be our relatives. So thinking like this, thinking beyond this birth, thinking spiritually, how can somebody harm others? It is an emotional thing. If somebody look at, believe, think, and it will happen. But if somebody will practice meditation in the Buddhist way or in Patanjali's way, taking care of the Yamaniyamas, rules and regulations, Arya Ashtanga Marga or Panchasila, then after some years, 15-20 years, it will take that his mind and his heart will be clearer, and he can easily see, easily feel these things. Who is my nearer and dearer, what I have done. It is an experiential thing, one can do these things. Taking together all these things, total whatever I said till now, Buddhism developed the deep ecology. Deep ecology is a thing that it is not outside you are doing some things. Inside you make the ecology. Inside your heart, inside your mind, with your behavior, you contain your greed, you contain your anger, you contain your selfishness. Okay, control all those things. And that if you control within yourself, within your soul, in your mind, in your behavior, then that makes the conservation of other things. The Western world destroyed the ecology because not only Western world, in India also nowadays, those are making the factories in the bank of river Ganga, somewhere in Rishikesh and other places, even in Kanpur. It is only the selfishness of the people. They made these things and they influenced the political people, and there is no rules and regulations. They are keeping destroying the Ganga river, keeping destroying so many other things. So why so much things? Here again, I am bringing the Gandhian thing that as much you require, you should use. That Ramasara has referred to. Why so much greed? Why so much profit? Take all less profit, less enjoyment, less balance. So these are the matters of deep ecology. And Buddhist people has made two ways things: the deep ecology and their social engagement. It is Buddhist, total Buddhist field is studied as engaged Buddhism. Engaged Buddhism means the Buddhist people are engaged in the social activities and also ecological activities, conserving the ecology. And that engaged Buddhism is a different branch of study now in other countries. So we have to practice ecology within our attitude, within our mindsets. That ecology, if we can practice, then outside it will be reflected in our behavior. That is the thing we have to take care of. Come to the Buddhism, Vedic system of ecosophy. We know all this Atman and Brahman. Everything is Brahman, everything is Atman. I should not take more time. So Sarvam Khalvidam Brahma is one of the motto, that everything is Brahman. I mean, jaha kichhi dekhuchu, jaha kichhi experience karuchu, material or immaterial, सब किछि होछि ब्रह्मा. Brahman means there is same energy that is getting expressed in a different ways for different things. Okay, everything is Brahman. If you take the Visishta Dvaita or the Puranic concept, then सबुआडे ईश्वरंकर प्रकाश. शैविज्म लोक मैंने कहते जे शिव शक्ति ही सबुआडे प्रकाशित होती. वैष्णव कहे विष्णु ही सब विष्णुकर रूप निज भितर एवं अन्य मान भितर जो माने जे आत्मा को देखि पारे, जे विष्णु को देखि पारे, से विष्णु को प्राप्त हो पारे. प्राप्त हवार अर्थ सबुआडे ही सही भगवान को देखिबा. सो ये जो भगवत तत्व, शैव तत्व, शक्ति तत्व, ये जो सर्वम खल्विदम ब्रह्मर गोटे प्रकार अलग अलग प्रकार आलोचना. We have concept of Hiranyagarbha. The whole universe is a kind of egg. It is kind of womb. जमी मार पेट भीतर जमी छुआ रही था विभिन्न प्रकार सिस्टम से छुआ पेट लगी था सेमती विराट विश्व हूँ गोटाए गर्भ. यही गर्भ भितर आम समस्ते अलग अलग सिस्टम रही. तो हिरण्य गर्भ कॉन्सेप्ट is very elaborate, but the thing is it is not that we are the Brahman, we are inside the Brahman. The space is Brahman. It is an energy field. In German philosophers think they describe that Brahman is a kind of energy field. It is an energy field, and all these are energies, and we do not decide, we could not elaborate this energy about trying to study these things, and these things Upanishad says as Brahman. So Brahman or Atman is the thing, it expresses as individual, and also it is there in this space. Within this space the individual appears. Difficult to study, but scientists study that how the electrons are developed, are moving. So they found that in a space, there is a elaborate research that in space the electron appears as something, appears as electron, and the next moment it disappears. It becomes a total space, and within that space again it appears as electron somewhere else. So the space appears as electron and it goes again and again. So Hiranyagarbha shows that it is within the energy field of Brahman. We are the part of the different individual expressions are called Atman. The Virata Purusha or Vishwarupa, in the Vishwarupa Virata Purusha आम समस्त ओडिया लोक को जना जे विराट पुरुष जिते कृष्ण नहीं अर्जुन को देखापी से समस्त ब्रह्मांड ही देखा जाऊला. सब प्रकार जीवजंतु ही देखा जाऊले. विश्वरूप कृष्ण देखते जशोदा को कृष्ण ठार सब विश्व ही देखा जाऊला. खाली कृष्ण एम देखी ना. व्यासदेव अनेक समय विश्वरूप देखी जे ब्रह्मन केमी सबकि ब्रह्मन भीतर अच्छी डिसोल्यूशन को जाए ना. ये केवल गोटे फेज रे गोटे पछक चली जाए, आग को चली जाए, अलग अलग प्रकार रूप निए, किंतु निश्चय भाव से निशेष हुए नहीं. All these things express that there is a Vedic pantheism. God is all and everywhere. That Ramsar has taken that Om Isavasyamidam Sarvam Jat Kinchit Jagatyam Jagat. Isa or the Lord is everywhere. He is extended everywhere, and everything is the universal. I have taken Gambhirananda Radhakrishnan, Sri Aravinda, has studied Sri Aravinda's interpretation. So whatever we see moving and non-moving is filled with the Lord. Means the Lord is expressed everywhere. If the Lord is expressed everywhere, the nature is the Lord. So that is why the nature is worshipped. If we go to villages, Odisha प्रत्येक गाँ मुंडरे सब ठाकुराणी कोटी गछ कोटी पत्थर सब जोठी जहाँ पड़ी सब गोटा सिंदूर मार देकर पूजा करछंती. The thing is expression that godliness can be ascribed everywhere because everything is the expression of God. To come to the Vedic philosophy is expressed in yajna or sacrifices. यज्ञ और सैक्रिफाइस ओडिशा रे बहुत कम होची, अलग जगह मध्ये होची विभिन्न प्रकार रे, किंतु यज्ञ एवं सैक्रिफाइस यजुर्वेद रे जेमति तयारी हेतला तार अर्थ आमे देवता को किछ अर्पण करिबा, देवता माने हमको अर्पण करिवे. इंद्र को आमे आहुति दबा, इंद्र हमको वर्षा देबे, वर्षारु बहुत गुडे फूल फल हेबो, शस्य हेबो, एवं से शस्य आमे खाइबा, पुन थरे इंद्र को ताहा अर्पण करिबा. एमति गोटे प्रकार विश्वम्बर पाही आज जन प्रोफेसर थे विश्वम्बर पाही आज ना से कहते जे मनीष आ देवता भितर गोटे रिलेशनशिप थिला खाली मनीष देवता नुह अनेक देवता बोली खाली जे मनीष रूप में देवता इंद्र को स्वर्ग रहते एमती नुह इंद्र अर्थात किसी शक्ति एनर्जी नेचर गोटे एनर्जी अश्विनी कुमार मीन्स नेचर किसी एनर्जी सो विभिन्न प्रकार आम चिंताधारा थिला तेणु आम मनुष्य रूप मनीष भाई भावुले से गोटे गोटे अलग अलग व्यक्ति किंतु से गोटे गोटे अलग अलग शक्ति मध्य से शक्ति और व्यक्ति एवं से शक्ति और व्यक्ति को आम अर्पण करूँ जहाँ जो सब औषधि पत्र आम सब अर्पण करूँ ताहा नेचर को जाऊला से नेचर से सब शक्ति और पुणी थे आम भाग आसूला यज्ञ पर्जन्य पर्जन्य वर्षा वर्षा पुणी थे शस्य एमती से साइक्लिक चल जाऊला तो आम देवता मान दौ और देवता मैंने आमको दिंतु विश्वम्बर पाई कथा कहता समय से कांदी पकाती बहुत समय जे आम गोटे रिलेशनशिप थी नेचर सहित आज से नेचर से रिलेशनशिप चली जाऊँगी कारण आम प्रथम देवता मान शक्ति व्यक्ति रूपांतरित कले और व्यक्ति रूपांतरित कलापर मॉडर्न स्टडी आसीगला आम व्यक्ति भी बोलीगले एवं सब मनीषर कल्पना और किसी नुह एवं भी यज्ञ विद्या रिसर्च चली जो मैंने यज्ञ काम कर बहुत फॉरेन रिसर्चर मैंने काम कर इंडिया बहुत कम लोग काम कर जो मैंने काम कर काम किसी स्टैंडर्ड हो पारनी से केवल जहाँ सब लिखाई सब जोड़ जाड़ी थोड़ा काम कर तो यज्ञ गोटे यज्ञ प्रथा आम जहाँ था वैदिक इकोसफी संपूर्ण कार्यकारी प्रणाली आम जो शांति मंत्र जप करूँ पृथ्वी शांति अंतरिक्षम शांति द्यौ शांति आप शांति औषधय शांति वनस्पत शांति शांति विश्व में देवा शांति सर्वे में देवा तो ऑल दिस शांति सर्वे शांति द टोटल मंत्र इज नॉट हियर द टोटल मंत्र इन यजुर्वेद इट अथर्ववेद इज लेस तो सर्वे शांति शांति रस्तु शांति मुझे शांति मध्य शांति हो तो ये शांति सर्वे शांति पृथ्वी शांति देव शांति यार कहबार अर्थ कौन थिला दिस एक्सप्रेसेस द इकोसॉफी so to make a comparison now ecosophy in Buddhist and Vedic tradition the Buddhist tradition takes we have understood that the philosophy of anatma and the Vedic tradition as atman so the Western philosophers always take the logo means the mark some stamp so they take the stamp okay categorize them and then they study because of that categorization it is not actually watertight compartmental division there is something similarity something dissimilarity it is the Indian cohesive culture but this culture they did not understand in the beginning that is why they take Buddhism Jainism as different altogether exclusively from the Vedic system and things have gone diluted in many classical books written by the foreigners. So Anatman is one tradition. If you take them, then Atman is another tradition. Atman is Vedic tradition. Anatman is the Buddhist tradition. And these are totally tradition. There is nothing essential, they say. And Buddhism says that there is essential. Brahman is there, everything going on. Towards the Buddhism, Mahayana Buddhism, that Buddha nature, the concept of Buddha nature, that essentially everything is Buddha, everything is the consciousness, everything is the absolute. The same absolute expresses everywhere in some phenomena as relative. This concept is developed. When it is developed, then there is this Mahayana Buddhism trying to, it is not actually conscious trying. It is unconsciously they develop this concept by the realization in meditation. And then when the concept rises, then the gap between Anatman and Atman becomes less, almost bridged. And then you see, even if there is Anatman and Atman different traditions, but their ecosophy is gone. Yes, I am going to conclude. Their ecosophy is developed by their common pattern of morals, that is ahimsa, karma, rebirth, and Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is the word from Veda, is Vedic philosophy, but it is Puranic philosophy, but actually it is there in the Buddhism in a different ways. The Pratitta Samutpada and this Maitri, this Buddha nature, they all say that Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam. The Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam is the view that says that the world is in one family. The world means whatever is there, living, non-living, moving or non-moving, and at this time, in present, in past, in present, and in the future, it is going on. Comparatively for us, it is past, present, future, but it is there, existing in different forms, changing the forms. So I say that it is one kind of eco-contractualism. eco-contractualism. The term I made in the when I'm writing, thinking of this thing to present, then I came to it occurred to my mind the Hobbes philosophy that social contractualism, or that if society goes with the contractual with a contract, then the eco contract should be made that we should obey it, and we should make a contract with all the aspects of nature, animals and plants. So I am indebted to the Pattamundai College, grateful to the principal and the organization committee, thankful to my co-presentators, Ram Sir, Raj Kishore Nath, and I am also indebted to all participants who listened us, and made this event fruitful by attending. If they could not attend, then what we could do? Who will be the listeners? So the participants are our gods and goddesses. So Om Namo Sarva Suddha. This is a Buddhist mantra that everything should be pure. Thank you all. I end my.
Sir, I invite to Nirupama Swain to propose to vote of thanks.
2:30.
Thank you, madam. I feel my pleasure to extend vote of thanks in this platform. First of all, I would like to thank our principal sir, Sri Adhikari Lakshminarayan Das sir, who provided us this platform to organize this webinar. Then I would like to thank our resource persons, Dr. Ramchandra Majhi sir, Dr. Rajkishore Nath sir, and Dr. Sarojkanta Kara sir, who had accepted our invitation in such a short time, and they have given their time despite of their very busy schedule. Once again, I would like to thank you, sir. Last but not the least, I would like to thank our participants for their very patient listening. Thank you all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, everybody. With this, we call it a day. We all live. Thank you.
There is no question answer.
No, sir.
Why?
ନା ସେ କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍ ପିଲା କିଛି କରିନାହାନ୍ତି କ୍ୱେଶ୍ଚିନ୍।
ପିଲା ନା କଲେ ତମେ କର। Webinar will be successful. There will be question and answer discussions.
Questions are one of the important question. Pattamundai College third year students, sir. They does not know really, sir, what is actually the meaning of ecosophy, sir.
The key term. Ecosophy is ecology and philosophy. The philosophy of ecology is ecosophy. So the term is English philosopher's term, but ecology and ecosophy, anybody from the beginning can understand this thing. Okay, so the papers that have been circular made given to all, it made these things that it is a philosophy and eco-philosophy. So the term, okay, if students are there at that stage, then other things, whatever we said, from there they should understand. The three speakers have said, and we have to go up to that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Okay,
With
bye
this,
bye.
thank you, sir. With this, we